Erica Kirby claims she broke her elbow after a cyclist mowed her down on a bike path. Danielle Johnson says she's not to blame since the plaintiff was roller skating backwards.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Kirby versus Johnson. Ms. Kirby, you are suing Ms. Johnson for $10,000 in lost wages and medical expenses. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Johnson, you say that whatever her injuries were all her fault. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Let me hear first from the plaintiff. Ms. Kirby, how did you get injured?
Well, it was just a regular Saturday morning. Me and my husband went out. We took my twin daughters, they were 3 years old. We took them out on a little bike ride. I wasn't behind them. They were in front of me on a bike. They were in like a little buggy, you know, in front of me, the kids. And I'm rolling my roller skates behind them on the little pathway on Venice Beach. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that area.
I am.
We're going the opposite direction of each other, me and the defendant. And I'm turned around on my roller skates. The second I turn back around.
You're on roller blades or roller skates?
Roller skates.
Okay, you're on roller skates.
Yes. The second I turn back around, she is like literally coming straight towards me on her bike. Hits me on my left side and causes me to fall down onto my right side. Me trying to break my fall, I try to put my hand down, and I'm breaking my elbow.
Okay. So you had a collision, you on your roller skates, Ms. Johnson on her bike.
Correct.
And you break your elbow.
Yes.
All right. What happens?
Basically, I'm screaming hysterically for my husband. Bystanders are calling my husband. I guess somebody calls the EMT, the beach EMT. He comes and he assesses my injuries, and he tells me that he feels like it could either be a sprain or I could have broken my elbow.
Okay, and what was the final determination?
The final determination was I broke my elbow. I went to the emergency room right after that, and they told me I broke my elbow.
Do you have any evidence to support that? May I see it, please?
I'll take all of
Ms.
your
Johnson,
evidence,
so you're riding your bike on the pathway on Venice Beach,
Correct.
and you had a collision with Ms. Kirby.
Miss Kirby had a collision with me.
Okay, tell me what happened.
Yes, so we're
Don't be mad at me, I'm not Ms. Kirby.
I'm not mad
I'm
at
just
you,
trying to figure out where you were.
I'm not mad at you,
Okay,
Judge. I'm just
go
mad
ahead.
I'm not at work for
No,
my
go
child
ahead.
right now.
Go ahead. So
All right.
you were riding your bike.
Correct.
Tell me why you were there. Were you there by yourself?
I was there by myself. It was my off day. I am a full-time mother, single parent, so I take pride in my off days. So I decided to go to Venice Beach and ride my bike, as I usually do when I'm off. Now, myself and the plaintiff, we were coming towards each other in opposite directions, of course. And I noticed that she's turning around because she's going the opposite way, and she hits my handlebar. As a result of that, we both fall. Now, immediately, my first instinct is, okay, let me get out of the way. I don't want it to be a pileup. I don't want anybody else to get hurt or anybody else to fall. So I move over out of the middle of the trail, and I proceed to ask her, are you okay? You know, she stayed on the ground a little bit longer than me after the fall. She was very hysterical, and at that point, that's when the EMTs and the beach police showed up.
All right, so she was coming towards you, but her back was to you.
Correct.
So you could see her as you rode the bike.
I did try to move over to give her that space she needed, but it was also other people on the trail. So in order to not hurt myself as well as other people, she collided with my handle on my bicycle.
Just the handle?
Correct.
And then, so the actual hitting of the bicycle is not what caused your injury directly. It started the process of your injury. You actually hurt your arm when you fell down on it.
I guess the actual bike did not hit my arm, but when I fell onto my right arm.
Were you, and where was it broken?
Right here.
Right here?
Yes,
Okay.
I had to wear a sling.
I see the evidence of you going to the urgent care and you receiving treatment. Were you wearing those elbow pad things or and knee pads?
No, I wasn't. I had a helmet on, but I didn't have any.
No pads on arms or knees?
No.
Coming up.
It's roughly around $6,000 for 2 months of daycare. Transportation for my kids to get back and forth from daycare, that's another fee right there. Like all the fees that I've had to.
This is a lot of fees for a broken arm.
And later,
So you're out $722.
Yes.
Did you eat any of the food she brought?
No.
Oh, you threw it away?
I tossed it.
I left
you
it there,
tossed
yeah,
it.
because she pushed me out of the venue.
we're back with a dispute between Erica Kirby and Danielle Johnson over a bicycle accident.
I'm waiting for you to testify because the testimony thus far is that when you spun around, you hit the end of her bicycle handle. You didn't even testify that Ms. Johnson hit you.
She did hit. That was
Exactly.
the first thing I said was that she hit me. She hit me with her bike.
Okay, so you're saying she mowed you down like the tire hit
She was
you.
yes, because if you're
Not true.
if you are familiar with the trail,
true.
if you're the fastest people are going down the middle. She's going extremely fast. She didn't hit me. It wasn't a slight little push. She rammed
And
into
who was
me.
with you on this trail?
My husband and my 2 kids.
Is your husband's not here
No.
as a witness?
No, he's not.
Do you have a statement from your husband?
No, I do not.
Do you have a statement from any witness that was out there that she hit you
Well,
with your bike?
there's a police incident in there that that should be in there.
The police was not there to witness the incident
But
when
then,
it took
but then
place. So
someone,
the
I was not
incident
able to
report
call
will
the
not
police.
reflect
Someone
that they
else
saw me
called the
hit her
police.
with
So
my
someone
bike
else had to have told the
because that
police
didn't
what
happen,
happened.
Your Honor.
Where was your husband on the trail?
He was right in front of me.
Did he see this happen?
No, he did not see it.
Okay, then he can't be a witness. In the police report, you tell the police that Ms. Johnson's bike hit you.
Yes.
Did you also stay and give your account to the police?
Yes, I did, Judge, and I let them know that the handlebars is what she ran into that caused her to fall.
There is
as
no
What kind
well.
of
way.
bike were you riding?
There is no way handlebars.
I'm a trailblazer, so as you know, if you've seen one, the handlebars are a little bit longer
There's
than
no
that
way.
standard bicycle.
There's no way a handlebar would cause me to break my elbow.
No, your
So
fall
when you
caused
spun
you to break
around
your
on your
elbow.
skates, when you spun around on your skates, what did you see instantly?
She was right there. Like the second I turned around, she mowed me to the ground. Like I had
The
literally
tire
no
hit
time.
you, or did you hit the top of her bike?
I don't even know what part hit me. It happened so fast. That's what I'm saying. I just know that the bike was
It makes
right
no
in my
sense,
face.
Judge. She's contradicting herself. First she said it was the bike, then she said it was the handlebar. Now
I
she's
never
unsure.
said it was the handlebar. That came out of her mouth. I said the bike mowed me down. I said that from the jump, that the bike hit me.
And is this because you believe she was trying to do that on purpose, or
I don't think it was purposely, no, but I
course
think
not.
it was definitely a mistake on her end. She should have been
You
more.
thought she was negligent?
Yes.
We know now that you all collided. We know that you were injured. Take me to your damages. $10,000 in lost wages, but you say you're a stay-at-home mom. Explain to the court how you came to that
I
number.
actually have an article in there on how much a stay-at-home mom would make, and it's around $40,000, I believe, a year. Of
Yes,
work I would be
I've actually
doing.
read one of these articles, and they're fascinating. And I've stayed at home with my son before. I know it is no easy
It is
task.
definitely not an easy task, and I am here by myself. I'm actually moved here from Texas, so all my family is in Texas. It's just me and my husband out here. I have no other help, and with me wanting to be a hands-on mother, I don't really even trust people around my kids like that. So the fact that I even had to even put my kids into daycare was something that was emotional, stressful for me and also my kids.
All right. During the time that your arm was hurt.
Yes, the first 2 months, my complete recovery time, I believe, was 4 months. The first 2 months, I was on a sling. I literally could not do anything, so I had to put them in daycare for 2 months. And for twins, I believe it's roughly around $6,000 for 2 months of daycare. So that's a big lump sum of the money right there. And then to get my house cleaned was a lot of money as well. Cooking, I had to pay for transportation for my kids to get back and forth from daycare. That's another fee right there. Like all the fees that I've had to.
This is a lot of fees for a broken arm.
It is a lot
I
of
mean,
fees.
this
It's
is all
extremely
fees
a lot of
associated
fees.
with
And
being a mother.
with me being a stay-at-home mom, it's like I had. Before it didn't seem like it was that much, but then once I was.
You were inconvenienced. You were not incapacitated.
Exactly, Your Honor.
There's two different things, and I'm trying to understand
This
for
is
you.
my dominant arm. I cannot do stuff with this arm. I cannot drive with my left arm.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 3 years old.
What I then question and I ask you, and I think to myself is, if this woman can be so incapacitated by a possible or a real broken arm, why would she go out and skate at Venice Beach backwards or even forward for that matter, where there are bicycles and everything else, without wearing the proper safety protocol, the padding on your elbows and your knees. You've got 2 3-year-olds to take care of, but you're not taking care of yourself enough to ensure that you can be there for them. It is the determination of this court that Ms. Johnson was not responsible for the accident because she was negligent. You all had an accident. You collided. And if you would have had on the pads on your elbows and your knees like you did on your head, I really do believe you would not have been injured. For this reason, judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
This is ridiculous to me because I feel like my kids lost in this whole thing. My husband lost, my family lost, but you know, it is what it is.
I feel like there's always going to be people who try to manipulate the system, and judges like Judge Lake will make sure that never happens.
Coming up.
We said 11 a.m. on the day of the party. And guess who's not there at 11 a.m.? Or 12 p.m.?
You knew what time you were supposed to be there, right, Ms. Wang?
Yes. And the reason why I was late was because Mrs. Costello gave me the wrong address.
Naomi Costello claims her nephew's graduation party was nearly ruined after the caterers showed up late. Giovanni Wang says she would have arrived on time if the plaintiff had given her the correct address.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Costello versus Wang. Ms. Costello, you are suing Ms. Wang for $722 for breach of contract. Ms. Wang, you say there was no breach of contract. The issues were caused by the plaintiff. Is that correct? I'll start with you, Ms. Costello. What happened?
So I'm throwing a party for my nephew's graduation from high school. And a friend of mine sends me a video that Miss Wang did creating this amazing food banquet. And I thought, she's perfect to hire to cater for the party. So a few days later, we hop on a Zoom and we go through all the details. We do the menu, prices, location, daytime, everything. Good to go. I pay her in full up front. We said 11 a.m. on the day of the party. And guess who's not there at 11 a.m.?
You knew what time you were supposed to be there, right, Ms. Wang?
Yes.
And you agree that you were contracted for $515 to prepare party food, chicken wings, salad, all of this.
Yeah, the initial agreement, we agreed that it was going to be within party hours, and that's why I feel like we did not breach a contract. And the reason why I was late was because Mrs. Costello gave me the wrong address. She actually wrote, instead of 345 North Kimura Way, she ended up writing 3445 South Kimura Way, which was on the other side of Westlake Mountain.
Oh.
Coming up.
All my guests have already eaten. What am I supposed to do with a whole bunch of cold food that's probably gone bad because it's been sitting in a car for like a million hours?
We're back with the case of Naomi Costello and Giovanni Wang, who are arguing over catering gone wrong.
I was trying to contact Mrs. Costello when I noticed that there's a problem like this. I remember there's supposed to be this venue is not supposed to be at a house. So then I tried calling her, tried texting her, but I could not reach her at all. There was no cell reception.
What time did you arrive on that side of the mountain?
I would say around 12 p.m. Yeah, because
but you were
supposed
supposed to be on the other side by 11 a.m.
So what ended up happening that I didn't expect was that there was construction.
These are just excuses. I gave you the name of the banquet hall, which is the only banquet hall in the mountains.
She never gave it to me.
Over Zoom. I told her over Zoom.
She gave it to me over Zoom. She told me a lot of things over Zoom.
So
She told me
you
exactly
know
the
that
details
she
she
told
wanted
you-
on the food. She told me she wanted breadcrumbs on the mac and cheese. She told me to not put. She didn't want them. She wanted them lightly toasted. She didn't want them too crispy. I had to make sure
But
to get all
isn't
those
that what you
details.
talk about on a Zoom when you hire a caterer?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I'm saying that she also mentioned the.
You seem like such a nice lady, Miss Wang, but I don't understand if you got a pen in your hand and you writing breadcrumbs. When she gives the name of the venue, why don't you write the name? So get me to the part where you now have to order pizzas because you got a party full of people and no food.
People are arriving. I'm stressing out. And now it's one. Okay, so around like 12:45, I have to make a decision. I need to order food because someone's got to cook food and bring it. And pizza's the fastest thing. So luckily, I'm able to order a bunch of pizzas. They show up. without a problem.
You have cell phone reception. You can order pizzas on your side of the mountain.
Yeah.
All right. And so you got the pizzas.
Yeah, got the pizzas.
What time does Miss Wang finally show up?
2:15.
And what time is the party over?
4.
All
And
right.
by the time she shows up with cold food, all my guests have already eaten. They're not even hungry. What am I supposed to do with a whole bunch of cold food that's probably gone bad because it's been sitting in a car for like a million hours?
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
So you're out $722.
Yes.
Which is what you're suing for.
Yes.
And you believe she owes you all that money back.
Yes.
Did you eat any of the food she brought?
No.
Oh, you threw it away?
I tossed it.
I left
you
it there,
tossed
yeah,
it.
because she pushed me out of the venue. I actually tried to make things right with her, and I got there, explained the situation. I told her, I feel awful, I'm so sorry, this has never happened before.
You could have said no. You could have said, I'm not comfortable catering in that location. I would have found someone else.
Well, because you were right, because it was a referral from your best friend.
The fact that she arrived to the other side of the mountain 1 hour late due to all of the traffic, that's on her. But you have to take some responsibility for giving the wrong address. Because when you are doing something like that, the difference between a north and a south can change the whole picture, and that's just what it did. I believe in this instance, you both share responsibility, so it's the judgment of this court, judgment for the plaintiff for $361. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $361.
I still think you owe me the entire amount. I mean, I'll take what I can get, but this is ridiculous.
I think you should take some responsibility for giving the wrong address.
Okay, absolutely not. And this just means I will never pay for anything off of Instagram ever again. I don't know what I was thinking.
Fiona Thomas claims her ex-best friend temporarily blinded her by giving her makeup remover instead of lens solution. Lori Peters says Ms. Thomas is utterly ridiculous if she thinks it was anything but an accident.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding. Good morning, Judge.
You may be seated. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Thomas versus Peters. Ms. Thomas, you are suing Ms. Peters for $3,000 for medical expenses and 1 month's wages. Ms. Peters, you say that the incident was just an accident and you are not responsible.
Yes.
All right. Let's start with you, Ms. Thomas. Please tell the court what happened.
My now ex-best friend temporarily blinded me, and honestly, I believe that she's been after me from the very start of our friendship.
Really?
Yes, we met in college and we were in the same sorority, and she, to be quite honest with you, just always had it out for me because I think she likes to hold this air of superiority. She thinks she's better than everybody else and is often bragging and holding up her great achievements, which I'm just proud of her for. But she does so much comparison. I took it out of just the kindness of my heart to plan a trip for us to go to Palm Springs together. I even found the Airbnb. I arranged the whole thing. The only thing she had to do was drive, and she offered to do so because she said she was understanding that I drive quite often as I work as a rideshare driver. But then, as we were driving, I realized that I forgot my contact solution at home, and I just get really dry-eyed. I have a hard time seeing without my contact lenses. She said that she believed she had some contact solution left over in her car, so she gave it to me. And the next night, after we were at the pool, we were about to go out for dinner, I used the contact solution, and I've never been in such excruciating pain in my entire life. My eyes just I couldn't stop crying, just screaming in pain. I turned the brightest bloodshot red. I have evidence of that experience with photos.
Let me see your evidence.
Yes.
So wait, so she gave you what she thought was contact solution, but what was it?
I don't believe that she did think it was contact solution, but apparently it was eye makeup remover that gave me serious chemical burns and blinded me for a month.
Blinded you for a month?
Yes.
So I see your picture with very, very red eyes. You also had to, what, go to the urgent care? You had to go actually to the emergency.
Yes, she took me to the emergency room in that moment.
So she took you there.
Well,
Ms. Peters, what happened in your estimation? I mean, I see these red eyes. I see the bills for the medical expenses. What happened?
Yes, it was a mistake. This was an honest mistake. I got LASIK eye surgery a few months ago. I used to wear contact lenses. When I was traveling for work one day, I put liquid eye makeup remover in my contact solution bottle.
You were traveling, so you put eye makeup remover in your contact.
It was like a travel-sized bottle, a contact solutions lens bottle.
And you put that in there so you could remove your makeup. It was a little travel-sized bottle, so you just used that to fill it up.
Yes, to go to the airport.
But doesn't eye makeup remover come in a small size where it's already in a plain appropriate size, or you had a large?
I had a large bottle, so that's why I ended up putting it in the smaller bottle. So after we came home that day, she said, "Oh my God, I forgot my contact solutions," because she wears contacts. I said, "Okay, I think I have it in my makeup bag." So when we're at the pool, she's like, "I need it," so I gave it to her. Of course, her eyes started stinging, and I immediately brought her to the ER. Later, I remembered that it was eye makeup remover. Now, when we get back to LA, I've apologized profusely. In fact, I bought her groceries.
Oh my gosh.
I got her dinners.
Yeah, you brought me groceries.
And she kept harassing me over the phone.
I wouldn't have had...
So, Ms. Thomas, you get the bottle, you use it, your eyes start burning, you have to go to the hospital. You can't see for how many days?
For an entire month. And yes, she did drive me and bring me groceries in that time, but she's acting as if like that was some big burden on her, where I felt like such a burden because I wasn't able to do those things for myself. And then at that end of that month, I received this massive hospital bill, and I reached out to her thinking that as my friend, she would, of course, want to contribute to that, especially considering that she has such a higher income than me that she loves to hold over my head.
No,
when I went to send her this text message, my text went green because she blocked me. She blinded me, and then she blocked me.
Coming up.
She has been harassing me, telling me that I need to get her groceries, telling me that I need to drive her, forcing me to pay her for things, bringing her to the doctors. Meanwhile, she's driving, and I have evidence.
And later.
So you get the bouncy castle, blew it all the way up.
So when he blew it up, everything looked as it should be. But when I looked inside, there were large patches, and I asked him about it, and he said that it would be okay.
We're back with the case of Fiona Thomas, who is suing her ex-best friend, Lori Peters, for temporarily blinding her.
Did you block her, Ms. Peters?
Yes, I did. Your Honor, she was harassing me while I was at work, calling me 24/7, blowing up my phone, blowing up my Instagram, and in fact, I have evidence myself. Now, this temporary blindness was only supposed to last between 4 to 6 weeks.
You're lucky it didn't last longer than that.
Excuse me, 2 to 3 weeks later, through our mutual friend, who's closer to her than to me, I'm scrolling on Instagram. I click on her Instagram story just to see her driving. Now, she has been harassing me, telling me that I need to get her groceries, telling me that I need to drive her, forcing me to pay her for things, bringing her to the doctors. Meanwhile, she's driving, and I have evidence.
I'd like to see that evidence. You submitted a video to the court?
Yes, I did.
Let's see this.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited for what we're doing later. This is gonna be the best day. Are you ready?
Woo! It looks like you can see just fine in that video, Ms. Thomas.
You know, anybody could post a video that could have been taken any long time ago and post it now in order to help her look better.
This is annoying because I'm not understanding, Ms. Thomas, why do you think Ms. Peters would plot to put eye makeup remover inside of a contact lens bottle and just wait for you to ask her to use contact lens solution so she could blind you? I mean, you are actually in this court testifying as if she planned an attack on you because she thinks she's superior to you, and she wants to make you feel worse about yourself because she's so much better than you.
She does, in fact, act like that.
Are you hallucinating?
No, I'm not hallucinating.
Nobody
she has
does
always
that.
been this way.
If you don't think this woman has good intentions by you, why are you taking her on a trip? Because the truth is, everything you're talking about is just a drama because you're a drama queen. This is obvious.
Maybe you're right. Maybe I shouldn't have reached out to her. She doesn't seem like the kind of person.
I'm sure she would have hoped you didn't.
I certainly regret it.
Accusing her of sitting up and pouring eye makeup remover into a little bottle. And this is why the story is just so unbelievable and ridiculous. Because how is she going to know? Do you think she would sit there and plot and say, at some point, she's going to need contact solution.
Yeah.
And at that moment, I know she's going to have forgotten it. Get a grip. Don't waste my time up in this courtroom. I have real cases to see, real people to help, and real dilemmas to help solve.
Fine, I guess I'm a drama queen.
You are. And now you're going to smile.
Look,
if you need attention, get a friend. Get a dog.
Get a therapist.
Don't get a therapist. That's a good one, Miss Peters.
Yes. I really think she needs help.
But do not come up in this courtroom wasting the court's time on an issue that you clearly know was an error. She has shown regret and remorse for the mistake, feeding you and running around trying to take care of you because she felt awful about it. No one would want to do that to another human being. And you know good and well, you could have gone back to work if you wanted. After you flushed your eyes out, it might have taken you a couple of days. I see the doctors, the medical expenses that you did incur, but this was not intentional, nor was it in any way negligent. This was an accident.
I disagree.
I'm glad. And when you get yourself a courtroom and a gavel and a robe, you can make the ruling. But for now, this one is mine, and the judgment is for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
So how do you feel about the verdict?
I'm very pleased, but in fact, I actually feel sorry for her because I really think she needs help.
Any thoughts?
I really regret giving her a second chance as a friend.
I'm going to forgive you for myself, not for you, because you need to learn to grow up.
Coming up.
I asked her, if you want, you can go jumping on it. Everything was working.
Your Honor, we only tested out the bouncy castle when he set it up for like a minute, and that was it.
Zahir Wasson claims his neighbor rented his bouncy castle, and when she returned it, it was riddled with holes. Rita Kumar says the castle collapsed because it was patched when she got it.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Wasson versus Kumar. Mr. Wasson, you're suing Ms. Kumar for $1,560. You say she returned your bouncy house damaged, and Ms. Kumar, you said it was faulty and worn down, and it was not your fault. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Wasson, please tell the court what happened to your bouncy house.
Your Honor, I owned this bouncy castle for 10 years, and I bought it for my kids. And it was the best investment because they have fun. I sometimes rent it out to the families, friends, neighbors. Mm-hmm. And it ended up, I gave it to her, and it ended up with holes, and it damaged. It's unusable anymore, Your Honor.
Okay, so tell me why you gave it to her or you rented it to her?
I rented it to her.
All right, how much was the rental cost?
It was $50. I just gave it for $50 because she's a friend.
$50?
Yes, Your Honor.
For a bouncy castle?
For a whole day.
Why did you give it to Ms. Kumar for $50 for the whole day?
Because she's a friend and a neighbor, Your Honor.
And did you realize, Ms. Kumar, that $50 was a significant discount?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right, so you're at a party. What kind of party are you having?
So it was my big 3-0.
So you get the bouncy castle, blew it all the way up,
Yes.
and everything looked great.
So when he blew it up, everything looked as it should be, but when I looked inside, there were large patches and there were seams that were worn out, and I asked him about it and he said that it would be okay.
Coming up,
Did you have Ms. Kumar sign a damage waiver?
I have not, because Ms. Kumar was one of my friends. I thought it's...
we're back with neighbors Zahir Wasson and Rita Kumar, who are arguing over a damaged bouncy castle.
So you saw worn out seams?
Yes.
When you say worn out seams, describe to the court what they looked like.
I have a photo. May I present
Even
you
better.
with an evidence?
Sean, may I see the photo, please?
So this is what it looked like after 2 hours of it being inflated.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It had collapsed. And so I see also here a receipt. You had rented this bouncy castle to another client the week before.
Exactly.
And everything worked out fine.
Yes, I always have him sign the damage waiver. It shows that it's used and it completely works before, during, and after the party.
Did you have Ms. Kumar sign a damage waiver?
I have not, because Ms. Kumar was one of my friends. I thought it's insulting if I have her sign that paper.
Okay, but I'm looking at a picture here where I can see it does look a little worn in the seam area. I just
Your
saw
Honor,
that
this
picture.
Yes, Your Honor,
exactly
those are the seams
happened
that I was
after I
talking
gave
about.
it to her. Because when I gave it to her at the other birthday party, it was completely working. If it was like that in a picture, it wouldn't blow up all the way for the other party that I get it rented for.
Ms. Kumar, you're testifying that the seam looked like that.
Before the party, when he blew it up in front of me and I asked him about the large patches and the worn out seams, this was one of the seams that were worn out.
I asked her, if you want, you can go jumping on it. Everything was working.
Your Honor, we only tested out the bouncy castle when he set it up for like a minute, and that was it.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
I'm not sure if it was in great condition when you took it over to Ms. Kumar's. The picture that we're seeing with the seams, you're saying that her guest calls it, she's saying that it was like that when she got it. I don't see the same letter that you had signed by your previous client. I don't see that Ms. Kumar signed it.
Because she's not a client, she is a friend to me.
Exactly. So you charged her $50 and this really wasn't a business deal. You should have made sure she signed off on something indicating that all of the entire bouncy house was checked and it was in great working order. Because what she's saying is, I did see there were seams and I talked to him about it, but you said it was fine, so they went on ahead and used it. I actually have empathy for you in terms of the position you're in. You try to do something nice. You feel like when you get the item back, the item is not working the way it did the week before. The problem is that Ms. Kumar did testify that the seams, what she saw them to be problematic. It looks to me like it is slightly worn, which is why I believe the bouncy house collapsed. So it is for that reason, judgment for the defendant in this case. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You got what you asked for. Too bad.
You gotta buy me a new bouncy castle.
I'm not buying you anything. The judge ruled already. Go to the store and get yourself something.
I'm so upset.
That's not my problem.
Sorry, it didn't work out.
Trinice Carter claims her lash technician created a sticky situation when he used the wrong glue. Leroy McCoy says he only helped Ms. Carter because she looked like a sad poodle.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Carter versus McCoy. Ms. Carter, you are suing Mr. McCoy for $450. You say this is to cover an urgent care bill and prescription eye ointment because you claim he used the wrong glue on your eye?
Yes.
What happened?
Instead of using the actual eyelash glue, he used weave glue, and I actually caught an infection.
Oh, So for a lash application?
Yes. Well, I actually got my makeup done for him because I had a gala event to attend, and you know, I just wanted to look cute that day and not uproar anybody, but also show them that I did have beauty and brains. And he kind of ruined my night because my eyelashes were very irritated, and I had to leave the gala early because I had to literally kept fidgeting with my eyelashes, and they started turning red, and I was quite embarrassed.
So where did you find Mr. McCoy?
I actually found McCoy via Instagram, and I admire his work. His work was very nice, and I thought he had potential.
When you say someone has potential, that doesn't seem like they're an expert in their field. It seems like there's someone starting off and you think they have potential. Did he look like he had a reputable business?
Yes, he did.
All right, Mr. McCoy, what's your response? Did you put weave glue on the eyelashes?
Your Honor, I did. You know, and at the end of the day, I have on lashes right now, and I use the same type of glue. Negative Nancy, she's trying to sit here and say that she didn't know about it or anything, but I told her, and she was okay with it. And not only that, but she rushed me, Your Honor.
Your Honor, he did not tell me about it. I actually found it quite strange because in the middle of him doing it, he's like, close your eyes. And as I'm doing that, you know, I'm kind of opening him because he's trying to put the lashes on. I kind of see that he's using weave glue. And I'm asking him like, hey, why are you using weave glue instead of eyelash glue? And he hit me with, oh, honey, this is a beauty trick. You know what I mean? We use this one because it's cheaper, honey, and it lasts longer. And so me thinking he's a professional, I thought I just ran with it.
First of all,
I did think it was strange at first.
You were aware that he was using weave glue, and that's the weave for your hair.
Yes.
On your eyelash. So you're bonding an eyelash onto your eye with...
I didn't even become aware until it was already on there, and then I noticed, like...
And then you said something to him.
Yes, I said something to him.
And what was his response?
That's what he said. Oh, honey, this is the beauty trick. It's cheap.
Your Honor,
are you like a licensed makeup artist?
I mean, I'm not licensed, but I'm like a perfectionist because I've been doing it for over 20 years. Like, you see my face. It's beat for the gods and goddesses, okay? So, and mind you, not only that, but I have evidence. You don't need a license.
I'd like to see your evidence.
Yes, please.
What does your evidence show?
And then not only that, Your Honor, she should be grateful and thanking the gods, like thanking God above that I even worked with her because I turned her into a Nayance to a Slayance, okay? Let me tell you.
At least I'm a Yance.
Let me tell you. Get it together, hon. Get it together.
Michelle.
Get it together.
Get some order. Let's get some order. All right, so...
There's my evidence, honey boo-boo. Now check that.
Okay, Mr. McCoy, I want to understand one thing now. I asked you, were you a licensed makeup artist?
I've been, Your Honor, no, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a licensed makeup artist, but I've been doing it for over 20 years. I work out of my house. I've worked with so many big named, you know, performers, entertainers, and worked events. So it's like I'm good at what I do.
So why didn't you bother to ever get a license?
Well, you know, I just got busy, so you know, I didn't ever think that I would need to.
So do you live in a state where a license is required?
I live in a state where it's not required. It's not required in Texas.
So you have your Instagram page up as your marketing?
Yes. Looks by Leroy.
Let's get into Leroy. It. Yes. I love an L word.
Yes.
I love that.
Leroy.
Yes, honey. Okay.
That's what the L stands for, honey.
You're just a wannabe. You're such a wannabe.
I'm not a wannabe, honey.
Honey, clean up that mess before you try to come for me.
Okay. I'm pink one, you pink two.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order.
Coming up.
Well, you agreed to do her service.
I did because I was like, because I feel bad for her, just like right now looking like a little poodle, a sad poodle over there on top of her head.
You over here looking like Barney, but okay.
And later.
What did he do? He put roses on the floor.
Oh, he had the roses on the floor and everything?
I was just trying to make it a nice Valentine's Day.
We're back with the case of Trinice Carter, who is suing her lash technician, Leroy McCoy, for causing an eye infection.
What is that evidence you have?
This is the evidence of the weave glue that he used. And after doing research, we actually found that it's not good to use or safe to use around the eye.
Can you please hand up all of your evidence?
Yes, I sure can. Here's my red eyes. And here's me sliding into his DM. And then he replies and says, yikes. Okay, Nicki Minaj. And here is the meme of him subbing me after after I slid into his DM to let him know my eyes were irritated.
He subbed.
So as if he sent a subliminal message and posted it on his Instagram story.
If the shoe fits, wear it.
Oh, is that what? Did you know that's what it was called?
You got me on the sub. I thought she said snub.
Snub.
But
I understood snub. So, Ms. Carter, I'm looking at your evidence here. I can see that your eyes are quite red. And then I see that you sent a message. Just wanted to let you know I got a really bad allergic reaction last night. You show him the picture of your eyes, and you write back, Mr. McCoy, yikes. And then you say you probably shouldn't be using the weave bonding glue on the lashes. It doesn't sound like to me you were coming for him very hard in these messages. You were simply saying, I don't think you should be using this. How did this escalate to you deciding to sue?
Well, it actually escalated to me deciding to sue is because he posted on his Insta story after I literally slid in his DM. He posted on his Insta story sending a subliminal meme towards me instead of tagging me. And yeah.
Oh, so the subliminal meme was, oh, you're a customer? Please enlighten me on how to do my job correctly. Was that directed towards Ms. Carter, Mr. McCoy?
Your Honor, it wasn't directed towards her. It was something that I was just in the moment and I wanted to post because I'm a hard-working man, you know, and I just don't like, I didn't like how she was coming towards me. She was already negative, and she was just negative, and she was just she bum rushed me. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't appreciate it.
Well, you agreed to do her service.
I did because I was like, you know what, I'll go ahead because I feel bad for her, just like right now looking like a little poodle, a sad poodle over there on top of her head.
You over here looking like Barney, but okay.
Anyways, at the end of the day, I gave her the service, and she wants to cry wolf to me. That's not my responsibility. And mind you, I told you, I tell all my clients, I'm letting them know what I'm using. So I told her, I said, you know, I'm going to use the hair glue. Is that okay? Because I use it all the time. And she's like, oh yeah, that's fine. I got to go to this place, and I got to look good, but just, you know, try to hurry up. So that's what I did.
You took the client on, yes or no?
That is correct.
You agreed to provide a service, that is correct?
That's correct.
Is it your assertion that because she was in a rush or kind of caught you at a time when you were busy and you said bum rush, is that an excuse to not provide a full service if you take the full money?
Well, that's where you're wrong, Your Honor, because I provided the full service. She got her face beat. She had the eyelashes. I told her exactly what I was putting on her.
You didn't tell me, sir.
Anything
I
else?
asked you.
Excuse me, she's talking to me, not you. So let's check that.
Okay, Mr. McCoy, I'm trying to give you a break because I'm trying to give you a chance to make it make sense to me why you chose to use weave glue instead of eyelash glue for eyes. And you've got a lot of smart talk. I'm just hoping that's backed up by smart business practices.
Yes.
Which I don't see. So, you know, you're going to tell me why I'm wrong, and I'm listening because I want to know why you believed your choice was right.
My choice was right because I even told her that she doesn't have pictures of the messages or anything like that, but I even told her when she got there.
Do you have pictures of the messages?
I don't, Your Honor. But I will just say that I did let her know that, you know, I don't have the other product as far as the lash glue, but I do use the wig glue, you know.
Oh, where's that message? Do you have that, Ms. Carter? You say he told you that in advance. Did he tell you that in advance? Because that wasn't your testimony.
No, he did not.
Your testimony was you were getting your eyelashes done and you had your eyes blinking, and when you kind of looked up, you realized it was weave glue and not eye glue.
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
So are you testifying that he told you in advance that he didn't have the eye glue product, or he did?
No, he didn't tell me in advance.
All right, I've heard enough. Now you've got maybe a process that you've decided to use, and maybe people you've used it on have not been affected. But that does not in any way prohibit you from being liable to someone who it does affect. And it is obvious it affected Ms. Carter. It gave her a reaction. Her eyes were red. I was happy when you told me I was wrong because I was wanting you to tell me how I was wrong, because what I already knew as judge of this court is you were dead wrong for using that eye glue. And because of that, judgment for the plaintiff for $450. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $450.
Looks by who? Loser.
You still never look good, honey.
Loser.
That's chump change to me.
Sure.
Just like your look.
You may now exit the court.
Coming up,
You were coming to get gym equipment at 10:30 at night.
I work during the day, Your Honor.
All the way till 10:30 at night?
Absolutely. I work at a hardware store. I have to close.
So I see here that she's giving you consistently until May 31st to get your things. May 31st, May 31st. So what prevented you?
Don Norton claims he can no longer exercise because his ex-fiancée kicked him and his gym equipment to the curb. Niecy Bowles says she warned Mr. Norton what would happen, but he didn't listen.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Norton versus Bowles. Mr. Norton, you are suing Ms. Bowles for $654.86 for gym equipment you say she threw away after you all broke up.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Explain what happened to the court.
Put simply, we had an argument on Valentine's Day. Niecy was expecting me to propose, or actually to set a date for our wedding, which I did not. She was despondent by that and needed some time alone. In response, I went to stay with my mother for a couple of days. When I came back, she had locked the doors, changed the locks, and locked the garage.
You were living together at the time?
We were.
Whose name was on the lease?
Hers.
So, Niecy, you look like you are over it. What is your response to Mr. Norton's claims that you broke up because he wouldn't set a wedding date?
Because we are together 5 years and we were engaged for 3 years. We are engaged more than we've been dating for. And of course, I'm 41 years old. My clock is ticking. I was expecting him to set a date for our wedding. And what did he do? He put roses on the floor.
Oh, he had the
How can I
roses
take
on the
him
floor and
serious?
everything? And you thought you were going to get a date for the wedding and he never said anything?
He never said anything.
I was just trying to make it a nice Valentine's Day.
Coming up,
Just waste my time and then go for a younger girl.
When does your visa run out?
You brought the visa up into it?
It's the only thing that makes sense, Your Honor.
we're back with a dispute between exes Don Norton and Niecy Bowles over trash gym equipment.
So the issue then becomes you're suing her because you say she disposed of your gym equipment.
That's
What
correct.
happened to the gym equipment?
We did agree upon me removing the equipment, but she made
When
things
did you agree on that?
over text.
Do you have those texts?
I do.
I'd like to see them, please. Thank you, Sean.
You're welcome.
Hey, Don, when will you be able to pick up your gym stuff? Oh, you asked him. Not sure yet. What's the rush? That's you.
Correct.
It's already been a month. You trying to get rid of me like that? Laugh out loud. Okay, Wednesday, 10:30 p.m.-ish. I'm not falling for that again. So you were coming to get gym equipment at 10:30 at night,
I work during the day, Your Honor.
all the way till 10:30 at night?
Absolutely. I work at a hardware store. I have to close.
So I see here that she's giving you consistently until May 31st to get your things. May 31st, May 31st. So what prevented you?
I did not have access to a truck. That was my cousin. He was going to be there to help me pick that stuff up.
So how long after he moved out did you end up giving his stuff away?
3 months. I just put it on the curb like I promised to.
Oh, you told him it's going on the curb at this date.
I told him for 1 month. I told him, please, you have the deadline till May 31st. After that, I will put all your stuff just on the curb on the street. I couldn't do anything with my garage.
An
because it
hour
was full
garage?
of-
To 5 years? What are you talking about?
Hold on, Mr. Norton. You just got really upset.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Why this passion didn't translate into a wedding date?
I was trying to become a better person. I was trying to do better and
It's a lie. You was never gonna marry me. You was always just wanted to get comfortable in my house, just to get back on your feet, just waste my
Right.
time and then go for a younger girl.
When does your visa run out?
You brought the visa up into it?
It's the only thing that makes sense, Your Honor. Her visa runs out next year.
But that's 5 years you all were together. 3 years you were engaged. I don't see her in one text message talking about, oh, but my visa. It's you trying to get back in that house because you become so accustomed to having your cake and eating it too. The only problem is now that this gym equipment is gone, you might have your cake and you might eat it too, but you ain't gonna have no gym equipment to work it off. You had 3 months to get it. She gave you a solid 30 days to come pick it up. And she said it was going on the curb. And this is in writing. For that reason, my judgment is for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You grow up finally. That's what your mom.
My mama warned me about women like you.
She was always complaining about you to me.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Here's your second mom.
Candy Dillon claims her stepfather used her short-term rental account to cheat on her mom. Marlene and Christian Sanders deny the plaintiff's account was used now that they've reconciled.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Dillon versus Sanders. Ms. Dillon, you are suing your stepdad, Mr.
Yes.
Sanders, for $500 for Airbnb charges that you say he used with his sneaky links. What's a sneaky link?
A sneaky link is somebody that you link up with to do some sneaky stuff.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. And so tell the court what happened.
So I actually got some Airbnb charges to my credit card, and my stepdad was the only person authorized on my Airbnb account, so he's been using it to sneak up with somebody behind my mom's back.
So why did it come to the point where you had to put your stepfather on your Airbnb account?
Because about a year ago, my stepdad actually cheated on my mom, and my mom kicked him out. So they've been working through their marriage because he was, homeless to say. So I had to put him in an Airbnb and help him out.
All right, and at what point did you see charges that you knew you didn't make?
So 2 months ago, actually, there was a charge to my credit card. So I called up Airbnb myself, and that's when they told me exactly what had happened, that somebody stayed there. And so I was in a dispute with actually Airbnb as well.
Oh, you were arguing like that wasn't me?
That wasn't me. So I actually contacted my dad, and I asked him. I actually went in person. We were in the kitchen. My mom was there. I came into the kitchen, and I asked him. He was
in front of your mom?
In front of my mom.
Wow.
I was just asking him, did you book the Airbnb for these dates?
All right, and then what did he say?
He said no, I was out on a work trip.
Oh, he said no?
Yep, he said no, that wasn't me.
So did you or didn't you use the Airbnb on that date, Mr. Sanders?
Your Honor, I did not.
It wasn't you?
It wasn't me.
But you had used Ms. Dillon's Airbnb in the past when you and your wife were separated?
A year previously, correct.
But had not used it at all?
No.
Do you have your own Airbnb account?
I don't.
All right.
Everything in our family, my wife takes care of things. She's a financial whiz. She handles all our bills. She sees everything I do through our credit cards and everything.
So, Ms. Sanders, you don't believe your husband used the Airbnb on those dates either, or you don't know?
I don't believe it. I think he's pretty honest with me. We had some problems previously in our marriage, because I've been married to him for 24 years, and I did caught him cheating one time, but that's why I kicked him out of the house, because I was trying to teach him a lesson. All marriages have problems, so I forgave him for what he did before, and he's been a pretty honest guy. I love him, and while he's gone, I missed him. So I figured that was enough time for him to realize, that he made a drastic mistake in cheating. But no, I don't believe that he's done that. I love my husband.
Okay, this sounds great. The question is, who was using your Airbnb account?
So that did stream to an investigation from Airbnb. So yes, an investigation started about a month ago. And yeah, some evidence has been certified that somebody was there.
Okay, can you tell who that person is?
Yeah, actually, we do have evidence footage, video footage.
You brought that with you to court?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'd like to roll the footage that Ms. Dillon submitted as part of her case today. It's not too many men with that haircut, Mr. Sanders. It looks very familiar to me.
It does look like me.
Oh.
This could have been taken at a different time when he was actually in the Airbnb.
Mom, this is stamped. This is evidence stamped from Airbnb. It's stamped.
Coming up.
My whole point is not here for the $500. Like my point right here to be in this courtroom, why it got to this point, is because I'm here to protect my mom. My mom is in denial, and she doesn't believe.
And later.
I was not asleep the entire drive. I was drifting in and out.
You were drifting in and out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How many drinks did you have?
Maybe like 4 or 5 drinks.
Hashtag drunk.
We're back with the case of Candy Dillon, who brought her mother and stepfather, Marlene and Christian Sanders, to court over short-term rental charges.
So you're admitting that it's you?
Yeah, it looks like me.
And you say it could be from the year ago?
What's
the time stamp on it?
Exactly 2 months ago today.
Exactly 2 months ago today?
Yeah.
Wasn't a year ago, Mr. Sanders.
I believe him. Kristen really doesn't lie or tell,
Mom,
he's
he
really
just cheated on you.
in his story.
He just cheated on you. How can you say that?
Because
the whole reason why we're here in court today is
Candy,
because you don't believe me.
Candy, there's a picture
No.
of me and a door frame. How is that cheating?
That's confirming that you were in the Airbnb that you're denying that you were at. You were supposed to be on a work trip.
So let me ask you
state.
this. All right, let's just pause. Say he rented the Airbnb just to get away for the weekend. What evidence do you have that suggests this was about meeting up with a sneaky link?
Because that's what he was doing, ma'am. Like, he literally was doing that, and that's why my whole point is not here for the $500. Like, my point right here to be in this courtroom, why it got to this point, is because I'm here to protect my mom. My mom is in denial, and she doesn't believe.
I'm not in
you
denial.
are in denial, and she doesn't believe anything I say. I try to tell her, privately, she doesn't believe. And the fact that you've raised me since I was 4 years old. And the fact that you're making me look crazy right here.
But Candy, I mean.
Like, what's up with you? Like, why would you do that?
I don't know why you're in this mode.
No, but why would you do that? Mom, you know the relationships I've had.
Candy, just
He's literally doing what my exes have done. Like, you're literally allowing that.
Is a very high maintenance woman, okay? And her dad takes care of her. I've been married to this guy.
No, actually, she takes care of him because he got to be on her Airbnb account.
Well, Your Honor, I'm not very good with real-world things, so.
Oh, because your wife is the math whiz. She handles all the finances.
Yes, I make the money.
You provide, but you just don't manage all that.
Exactly.
Okay, so you take care of your daughter, but with Airbnb, you couldn't be trying to get the app and all that.
You know, when we had the breakup, it was very chaotic. I had to get into a hotel room. That got very expensive. And Candy.
You know what was chaotic? Mom crying and not being able to even cook dinner.
Of course.
Who was there? Who was there? Not you.
I've
that
made
was chaotic.
terrible mistakes with somebody I love. Okay?
All right, so Mr. Sanders, since you're ready to talk right now, let's talk. If that was you coming out and it's time-stamped to 2 months ago, what do you have to say about that?
I have, I don't want to get into fully personal details, but I had some grief issues. And yes, that was me 2 months ago. It was something I needed to deal with. There's nobody else in that room. And sometimes I have some self-destructive energies I need to deal with, and it's just best for me to go somewhere and deal with it.
So you've never talked to your wife about this?
She knows all my demons, but...
No, not this one. Not the Airbnb demon.
Well...
I had Candy ask you whether or not you were there, but the dates that she's saying does not line up because he's been at home with me.
No.
We have reconciled. We are having a great relationship,
But was he missing those nights? Did he say he was going away somewhere on a trip? Because he told her he went away on a trip. Did he tell you that?
No, he did not tell me that.
Well, where did you think he was for these nights when he was gone?
I don't know.
What?
I trust my husband.
It was
you
a
know,
business trip.
We're having a really good relationship.
It was-
And I know Candy might be frustrated right now. There are some things that's going on in her life also that when she looks at our marriage and it's the second time I go around and she sees the happiness and how we're doing, I can understand.
So you're going to try to testify right now that your daughter is going to be jealous of your happiness and then seek to destroy it?
Yes, because she's had some terrible relationships and they have been cheaters in her life. So when
So you think she's projecting her life experience
Yes, I
onto
think
you
so.
I
and
think
your
that's what's
husband,
going
and
on
she
as
thinks
well.
that he's cheating because she's been cheated on so
Yes,
much?
I believe that.
All right, well, luckily for this, we don't have to figure out whether or not you cheated to figure out whether or not you owe her $500. Because at the end of the day, you just admitted in open court that you did, in fact, rent the room. It was you. You said you were dealing with some grief issues. You weren't cheating. We don't have enough facts. Now, even if you stepped right out of this door and looked up to the camera and said, "My name is Christian Sanders," something's telling me that your wife would still be here talking about, well, there's more than one Christian Sanders. Because when you don't want to believe something, you just don't want to believe it. So I'm not going to waste the court's time, which is my time, trying to convince you that perhaps your husband did not tell you the truth. That's something that you all can work out in the living room. I often talk to people about being able to converse and solve problems in the living room so they don't end up in the courtroom. Yes. And the truth is, Mr. Sanders, if you had been honest with your daughter in the first place in the living room, then you would not have to all be here in the courtroom. It's just that simple.
It is.
And that's something you need to work through as you're working through your grief. You need to also work through your lying, your unnecessary lying, and your inability to have adult conversations when it's time for people to understand why you're making the choices that you make. This was all avoidable. Judgment for the plaintiff for $500. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The co-defendants owe $500.
You happy about that?
It's, you know.
You lied. At the end, that was a lie.
I lied
Regardless
about
of it,
something
it was a lie.
embarrassing.
You're on Airbnb next time.
Oh my God.
You may exit the courtroom.
Coming up,
Got the car on off the guardrail and just kept going. And you still let her drive, even after this?
Yes.
All right, so your insurance covers designated drivers?
No, it does not.
Oh, exactly. I don't know if you should say that in open court.
Chelsea Anderson claims her friend was supposed to be the designated driver, but her car got damaged anyway. Angie Flowers says she shouldn't be financially responsible and is countersuing for $250.
This is the case of Anderson versus Flowers. Ms. Anderson, you are suing Ms. Flowers for $1,000, which is the deductible on an accident that happened when she was driving your car. And Ms. Flowers, you are countersuing Ms. Anderson for $250 for, you say, some services you provided her. You did her hair. She never paid you?
That's correct.
All right. Ms. Anderson, can you tell the court what happened the night of the car accident?
Yes, Your Honor. So we just recently graduated from college. And we all graduated, we all came back to our hometown, and we wanted to go out. And Angie volunteered to be our designated driver since we all were going to be drinking. She was working the next day, so she didn't really plan on drinking too much. So we went out around 2 a.m. We kind of wrapped up. We were driving back.
Angie was the designated driver. She didn't plan on drinking too much or not at all. Last I heard, designated drivers don't drink at all.
Excuse me, Your Honor. I'm very aware of my alcohol intake, and I would never drink and drive. So I was very aware, and I made sure that I only had one drink.
Okay, so you had one drink?
Yes.
So take me to the drive, because obviously something happened because
Yes.
you're here today.
So-
So you get in the car, and what happens?
So I sat in the passenger seat just to make sure, you know, everything was okay.
How many people were with you?
There was 3 more.
And you
yes.
guys were all asleep?
I was not asleep the entire drive. I was drifting in and out.
You were drifting in and out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
How many drinks did you have?
Maybe like 4 or 5 drinks.
Hashtag drunk. Okay.
Coming up,
Kind of have to.
So you basically told your insurance company you were driving?
Yes.
I hope they don't watch We the People.
we're back with a dispute between friends Chelsea Anderson and Angie Flowers, who are fighting over a damaged car and an unpaid loan.
So you drunk, you going in and out of sleep. Everybody in the back is drunk and sleep. You driving there by yourself. How'd you get in an accident?
So I dozed off. I basically dozed off and I hit the side rail, and I was freaking out as it is already. This is not something that I'm mind blown that I'm even here in court right now being sued by my best friend. I do not feel I was responsible for that. I'm not on her insurance, and she should know not to let people drive her car.
What?
Of course I'm gonna let you drive you are my oldest friend.
Right, but
so now you're gonna sit here and get mad at me for trusting
put me on
you?
your insurance.
How can you say that?
Because I literally, you can see it right here. I sent her $250. This is the evidence. We spoke about it on the phone, and it's just unfair. I don't think that.
What evidence do you have?
I have a Cash App statement.
You sent her $250 for what?
Did, for her hair.
For
and to be completely honest, I don't know what type of hair costs $250 unless you're getting it professionally done or professionally
So this is, hold on. This is your countersuit.
Correct.
And this is the $250 you sent her for her hair.
That's right.
Did she loan you $250 for your hair?
Yes, she did.
Did you pay it back?
Not yet.
Okay, that's that. That was easy. Once the accident happened, you hit the guardrail or you hit a barrier, something?
That's right.
Did you call the police?
No.
We did not call the
so
police.
Y'all just got the car on off the guardrail and just kept going?
Mm-hmm.
And you still let her drive, even after this?
Yes.
All right, so your insurance covers designated drivers?
No, it does not.
Oh.
Exactly.
I don't know if you should say that in open court.
I'm sworn to honesty, so I kind of have to.
So you basically told your insurance company you were driving?
Yes.
I hope they don't watch We the People.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
This is a friendship situation because you guys have not set boundaries, you're not acting responsibly, and most importantly, you don't understand the law. And that's why you're in trouble. At the end of the day, it is your responsibility, Ms. Anderson, for the accident because you allowed her to drive your car. But since you were so drunk and everybody else was so drunk, she was the least drunk, so you let her drive. This is your responsibility. Now, because you admitted in open court, Ms. Flowers, having one drink, falling asleep, and running into a guardrail, I mean, that's pretty significant. So I'm just going to do this. She owes you the $250.
Yes.
She don't need to pay you this $250 back. We're going to let that hair just be that hair. That'll be your $250 that you put towards this. You'll owe the $750, the rest of it, to your insurance company, because at the end of the day, this deductible is yours, and so is this responsibility. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You threw that out the window when you blocked me.
What you tried to do.
No.
This could have ended way better.
If you could have just answered.
Now I don't even know where this is going to go.
No, you could have just not blocked me like a child.
No.
And actually talked this out.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Lauren Williams claims she sent her son to a neighborhood birthday party and he came home with a dental emergency. Sasha Brenner claims the plaintiff's son was misbehaving and no one else got hurt.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated. Thank you, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good morning.
This is the case of Williams versus Brenner. Ms. Williams, you are suing Ms. Brenner for $1,850 for an emergency dental bill. You had to pay dental fees for your son's teeth. They were knocked out at a birthday party.
Yes.
All right, tell the court what happened.
My son went to her daughter's birthday party, and she provided a very unsafe environment. He got injured, and I want her to pay the bills for it.
How old was she turning?
6.
All right, so 6-year-old birthday party. How old is your son, Miss Williams?
He is also 6.
All right, 6 years old. How do they know one another?
We live in the same neighborhood.
All right, so you're neighbors.
Mm-hmm.
So you take your son to the party, what happens?
My son went on his own to the party.
Oh, because it's inside of a neighborhood? What did he do, ride his bike?
He just walked there.
Oh, just walked. Oh,
yeah.
Where was the party being held?
Just the communal park area.
In the neighborhood?
Yeah.
Your son just walks over to the birthday party?
Yes.
So how do you find out about his injuries?
When he got home, his 2 teeth were knocked out. I guess he went down the slip and slide.
Which teeth? Did you bring evidence?
Yes, I do have
Let me see that, please.
a picture of his teeth.
Thank you. There you are.
So this is the picture of his teeth. Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Ew, that looks like it hurts.
Yes.
All right, so you come home and your son's teeth look like that. And what happens? You immediately go, what?
I immediately took him to the dentist. They had to do root canals and put in dental implants.
And so at some point, do you call Ms. Brenner and say, what happened?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
So Ms. Brenner, I want to come to you. You had the birthday party for your daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Williams' son's teeth get knocked out.
Unfortunately.
Why didn't anybody call her to say, hey, your son had a little accident over here, something happened?
Well, me and one of the moms actually walked Max back over to his house and made sure that we found Miss Williams and let her know, that he got injured.
He walked in and was crying, and he told me everything that went down. And then I called her and talked to her about it.
Okay, so take me to the party, Ms. Brenner. You're having the party. At what point in the party did this accident happen?
This happened more towards the end of the party. I mean, we had been there having a great time. Her son was acting rambunctious, probably because she was not there. So we couldn't control him.
So you didn't stay at the party?
I didn't go to the party.
At all?
No.
Okay. Ms. Williams didn't come. Her son was acting rambunctious. Did anybody have to calm him down?
Yes, several of the parents tried, but he kept saying, you're not my mom, you're not my dad. And so, unfortunately, he had an accident in the slip and slide. He pushed the kid out of the way, and then he just went flying, so there was nothing we could do. We had asked him to be safe.
So the party was a slip and slide party?
Yes, yeah. And so I sent out an invitation, and I gave all the details, letting them know, what was going to happen. So
Where's the invitation?
Surprises.
Did you bring it?
Yes, I did.
Let me see that, please. Thank you. So it's a slip and slide birthday bash for Sarah's 6th birthday. Parents are welcome to stay and play. So were there other parents there?
Yes, Your Honor. Every other child had their parent present.
But you just didn't choose to go?
I don't want to be around them. She's very hostile to me in general anyways, and it was already in the community. I felt he would be safe, but apparently not. I expected her to provide a safe environment.
But you knew it was a slip and slide party.
I did know that, but what I didn't know was that she was going to use dish soap as well on the slip and slide, so it's already on a hill, and she added dish soap to it to extra lubricate it, so it's like a super...
Now it's bubbly and even more slippery. Did you add the dish soap, Ms. Brenner?
I did add some dish soap, yes.
Coming up.
I can tell it's a little chilly between the two of you.
She's a very difficult woman to deal with.
I've never done anything to you.
She's rude and disrespectful to us, as well as flirts openly with our husbands.
Whoa!
And later.
He broke the lease agreement first by not providing me a working washer.
The washer's fine, dryer's fine, it's working.
So he likes dirty clothes.
I don't understand what's going on.
We're back with Lauren Williams and Sasha Brenner, who are blaming each other for a child's injury.
So I had my clerk look up the directions for a slip and slide just to see how this thing works. Once the drop cloths are secured and in place, you just hook the hose to it and turn on the water. It doesn't say add bubbles.
Okay.
Well, in addition, the end of it was placed exactly where the playground equipment was, so that's what he ran into.
So when he came sliding down face first, did he slide down face first? Do you remember?
Yes. Yeah.
He ran into what? You were there.
Yes, he ran into the jungle gym.
Ooh.
So it was an unfortunate...
How close did you have this place to the jungle gym?
It wasn't that close. It was just close enough so when the kids came down from the slip and slide, they could go and play on the jungle gym. But it wasn't right next to it where they could get hurt. I mean, all the other parents were there. None of the other kids got hurt, so I don't understand
my son,
why we're here today.
He's 40 pounds, soaking wet. He's small. He just zoomed down the slide and ran right into the equipment.
Did it occur to you when he got injured, maybe I should not have used the dishwashing soap?
I really believe it was because he was just being out of control and there was nothing we could do to calm him down.
But when you invite 6-year-olds to a birthday party, isn't it reasonable to assume that there's going to be just a few of them? I know I remember from my son's birthdays. It's always a couple who come and act a fool. So tell me what happens from there.
I immediately took him to get it taken care of and looked at.
All right, so the exam, root canal, and an implant. All right, totaling $1,850. So I'm going to ask you, Ms. Brenner, you admit that you had the slip and slide, you add the dishwashing liquid. Why do you think you shouldn't be liable for these medical expenses?
I think that she should have been responsible and had come and watched her own child.
But your party invitation says parents are welcome to stay and play. It doesn't say parents are required to stay.
Absolutely, but I can't control every movement the child does.
No, you cannot. And so you believe it was her son's behavior that contributed to his accident that he had because no other child had the same accident?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you ever give her a call or send her a text and say, hey, you know, your little munchkin is down here wilding out. I think you might want to walk down here. Did you ever do that?
No, I did not.
So he obviously wasn't acting that bad.
He did start pushing other kids out of the way to get into the slip and slide, so it was bound to happen, I guess.
What was bound to happen?
The kid causing himself an accident was bound to happen. I mean, just the way he was running around and pushing people out of the way. It's just a miracle that he didn't get hurt any worse than he did.
So I can tell it's a little chilly between the two of you. What's your relationship like? You said you didn't even want to go to the party, Ms. Williams, because of the way they treated you.
No, and especially her. She's always very hostile towards me. I just don't want to be around that group of women.
Do you all like her, Ms. Brenner?
Your Honor, she's a very difficult woman to deal with, so
I've never done anything to you.
Lauren, you know that you are the bully. You make fun of our children's haircuts and what they wear to school. She's rude and disrespectful to us, as well as flirts openly with our husbands.
Oh, whoa!
Please.
These are some strong
flirted.
allegations. How do you respond, Ms. Williams?
That's ridiculous. I've never flirted with anyone. If I've maybe smiled, been nice.
And you made fun of Lisa's kid's haircut. I mean, I think it's really disrespectful.
I think
and
maybe
rude
she needs
to talk about a child that way. I mean, they're 6 years old. However they want to wear their hair is
I was
fine.
just commenting on it.
Lord have mercy. Okay, order. I wish I had this gavel when I used to be in these mommy groups. You need a gavel in these mommy groups. I don't even want to hear you all bickering back and forth because it just takes me back to a time when I used to hear all that nonsense and I didn't want to hear it then. We have to be the adults in the scenario. You're not going to get along with every person. Every person is not going to be your cup of tea. It is a whole bunch of nonsense. Kids want to play and they want to have fun. To that end, you have to provide a reasonably safe party for those children to enjoy. Slip and slide, okay, that's a toy we all know about. However, you're adding dishwashing liquid, which the directions do not say. Well, a reasonable person in that circumstance should say, if I make it more slippery, that means something could potentially happen to a child who slips too far. In your own testimony, you said when a child is acting so rambunctious like that, an accident is bound to happen. When you invite people to a party, you are saying, I am going to do what's reasonably necessary to keep all of the children safe. And in this instance, you did not. And for that reason, my judgment is for the plaintiff for $1,850. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $1,850.
There you go.
Well, the mommies are going to hear about this.
Can you just tell me what your problem is with me?
You flirted with my husband at the PTSA
I never
meeting.
even talked to Tim.
You have his number. He showed me the text messages.
Coming up.
You develop a nose for these things. That old nose tells you when somebody's trying to do a number on you. And that's what I think is the situation. I just don't think she liked the building. She didn't like the people. In fact, when she moved in, we had a party for her, and she didn't show up.
Brianna Poole claims her landlord refused to fix the washing machine, so she had no choice but to move. Aaron Moss says the plaintiff was looking for an excuse to break her lease and is countersuing for $2,050.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Poole versus Moss. Ms. Poole, you are suing Mr. Moss for $2,050, which is your unreturned security deposit. You say he owes you even after you broke your lease. And the defendant, you are countersuing Ms. Poole for $2,050 because you claim that she owes you a month's rent. Is that correct?
Right, that's right.
I want to start with the plaintiff. Tell the court what happened during this lease term.
Multiple instances happened, but none were as worse as the washer machine.
How long was the lease term?
The lease term itself was 1 year long.
All right.
But I was there for 4 months.
Okay.
While I had that lease, I would have also a working washer and a dryer. My washer just didn't work anymore, and he refused to replace it. So I wanted to leave.
All right, tell me why you say it didn't work at all. I mean, you couldn't wash?
The motor itself, it went off. I tried calling a repairman, and he told me that the motor was broken.
So you called a repair person out?
I did call a repair person out.
And they diagnosed the issue?
Yes.
Do you have any evidence?
I do, Your Honor.
And so, Mr. Moss, were you made aware by Ms. Poole that the washer was not working properly in her unit?
Oh, she came to me, Your Honor, and she was very upset. She said, if you don't fix this, I'm going to move out.
Coming up.
Article 33 notices on the lease agreement. I could come after her for 8 more months of rent on her lease.
We're back with Brianna Poole and her former landlord, Aaron Moss, who are arguing over a security deposit and unpaid rent.
This was my parents' building. For 50 years. They passed away about 15 years ago, and I remodeled the whole place. I bought new washing machines for the building.
So this was a new washing machine?
No, 15 years old, Your Honor, but they did tell me these machines would last 25 years if you really took care of them well. I could come after her for 8 more months of rent on her lease because according to this, Article 33 notices on the lease agreement, she'd have to have this in writing sent to me.
Okay, let me see that evidence. You better go ahead and get your little evidence, Article 33. Let me see. So you've got the lease agreement. I see in the lease agreement that notice should be given. I've also reviewed, Ms. Poole, the evidence that you say the repair company came out and gave you where it says that the machine is 15 years old. Mr. Moss just confirmed that in his testimony. And what this repair company says is that the cycle doesn't spin fully because the machine does not agitate like it once did when it was new. The recommendation was to replace the motor, but the part is no longer in production. Did you receive a copy of this repair statement, Mr. Moss?
You know, I did, but I don't really. These people that come, they'll tell you this because they get you to buy a new machine, they get a kickback from the company. I've been a landlord for a long time. You develop a nose for these things. And sometimes that old nose tells you when somebody's trying to do a number on you. And that's what I think is the situation. I just don't think she liked the building. She didn't like the people. In fact, when she moved in, we had a party for her, and she didn't show up.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
You didn't show up to the welcome party, Ms. Poole?
I don't need to show up to anything like that, Your Honor. I work hard every day. I am a night shift nurse. All I do is work. All I do is see people 24/7. Why do I want to come home and have cookie cake and party with other people? I want to go home and I want to sleep.
And wash your clothes?
And wash my clothes.
Nothing's wrong. The washer's fine, dryer's fine. It's working.
So he likes dirty clothes.
I don't understand what's going on.
I understand exactly what's going on. This 15-year-old washer that we're dealing with needs a new motor. And that's it. Do you have another motor? Or could you just replace it with a reasonably cost new washer? That's what you could have done. And most importantly, you could have kept a great tenant.
Right.
I don't think you moved well through your business process, Mr. Moss.
Yes, ma'am.
It's been determined by this court, judgment for the plaintiff for $2,050. Defendant, your claim has been dismissed. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $2,050.
Well, what can you do? Sorry it worked out like this.
I'm happy I got my money back.
It's hurting me financially, but at least we're done with all this mess.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Jillian House claims her baby shower went awry once strippers and their stripper poles crashed her party. Ellen Samuels says the plaintiff should have ended her event on time.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated. Good morning, Sean. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of House versus Samuels. Ms. House, you're suing Ms. Samuels for $2,500 for a baby shower you say she ruined.
Yes.
Tell the
correct.
court what happened.
So essentially what happened was I hired Miss Samuels for an event planner because she worked on my wedding as an assistant wedding planner about 2 years prior.
So you worked with her before?
Yes, I have.
Okay.
And I got very close to her and trusted her work throughout that experience. I told her about the nature of my family and them being very conservative, and I thought that because of all of the attention to detail that she brought to that wedding, I hired her again for my baby shower. Unfortunately, things did not turn out as planned because she brought strippers and a stripper pole to my baby shower.
What?
Yes.
No.
You brought a stripper and stripper poles to a baby shower, Ms. Samuels?
Your Honor, it was pole instructors. I did not bring strippers or stripper poles to her baby shower.
It's essentially the same thing.
No, I did not. No,
Well, wait a minute now.
No.
That didn't make good sense. You brought them there?
No, Your Honor, what happened was I had an event after her event. I made accommodations for her because the place that she was going to have it originally, something happened. I don't know what happened. So I made accommodations so that we can have it at the venue that I already had an event at.
Okay,
But she was
pause. Ms. House, you had another venue at first?
Yes, so what happened was my friend just offered up her home to me to throw as my baby shower, one of the gifts that she wanted to give me. But unfortunately, a matter of days before the baby shower, we found out that the house was infected with termites.
Ew.
Yeah, exactly. So essentially, I told Miss Samuels what the situation was and tried to see if we can get another venue. And because of the last minute arrangements, we were able to find some accommodations with a venue that she suggested
all
herself.
accommodations.
And you paid the venue a deposit?
Yes,
Do you
I
have
did.
a contract or anything from this venue?
Yes, yes. It's
Let me
right
see
here.
that. Sean, can I see that?
And also enclosed in those documents also are at least one picture from the baby shower that had strippers and stripper poles in the background of the middle of me opening up gifts.
I'm sorry to laugh.
I understand, it sounds
but
ridiculous.
that visual you just gave me, I didn't even get to the picture yet, but Lord,
Your Honor,
it's a little ridiculous.
They were opening gifts at 7 p.m. Her event was over at 5. The reason why the stripper poles were there was because we had to start preparing for the event that started at 8. Her and her guests was supposed to leave at 6 p.m. I extended it an extra hour. Due to the rain, we had to move everything from outdoor to indoor, so I gave her an extra hour. Mind you, me and my team is the one who took everything from outside, moved it inside. I talked to the venue. I said, okay, we can extend it an extra hour. I extended it an extra hour. She was still in the venue at 7 p.m. opening gifts with
So
her
you're
family and
saying
friends.
it's your testimony that the shower ran way past when it was supposed to be
Yes.
there. So you were hired to be the baby shower planner.
Correct.
All right. And you also were in charge of this next event at 8
Correct.
o'clock.
Correct.
Did you make Ms. House aware that at 8 p.m. I am having a party with strippers?
I didn't let her know that it will be pole instructors there because I don't share.
So it's not strippers,
No.
it's pole instructors.
It's pole instructors.
So it's a pole dancing class.
Yes, so a part of the birthday party, they wanted pole instructors to instruct the guests, so I hired pole instructors.
I want to get back to you, Ms. House.
Yes.
Did you know, was it made clear to you that at about 7 o'clock, I have to set up for a birthday party where there will be pole dance instructors. Was that made clear to you?
No, it was not, Your Honor. So what happened was, because of the rain delay, we initially had scheduled for the event to be outdoors. And because of the rain and because of the guests arriving late due to the rain, I talked to Ms. Samuels about potentially just letting the baby shower go a little bit longer to accommodate for the setup delay and for the rain delay.
From 2 to 5, then you moved from 2 to 6 because it took people a while because of the rain delay, and you were supposed to have it outside.
Yes, the setup took over an hour as well. So I feel like just to get the whole time that I paid for, I talked to Ms. Samuels and to see if we could get more time as an extension to accommodate for the baby shower.
Coming up.
She did not inform me, however, that there were going to be strippers and stripper poles.
But I let you know that there was an
And
event
on top
coming.
of that, because of the prior experience that I had with her, with my family at the wedding, she already knew the conservative nature of my family.
And later.
She initially was hesitant, but she wanted to do me a favor.
So what's this about a favor, Miss Martin? Why are we doing favors for people that really need their prescription? I'm not understanding what the favor is about.
Yeah, I will explain, Judge.
We're back with the case of Jillian House, who blames Ellen Samuels for strippers at her baby shower.
This is my first baby shower. It's my first baby. It took a lot to get to this point. I really just entrusted Ms. Samuels to accommodate everything and to take care of it. Now, when she told me about the extension and how that was okay, she did not inform me, however, that there were going to be strippers and stripper
But
poles.
I let you know that there was an
And
event
on top
coming.
of that, because of the prior experience that I had with her, with my family at the wedding, she already knew the conservative nature of my family.
What were you told about the event, or did you feel like you just had all the time in the world?
Well, the only reason why it ran later is because I had already talked to her about the nature of the rain delay. I also thought that she would understand that this would be some information that was worth noting.
What time did you finally leave? What time was the shower finally over?
Almost 7:30.
It was not almost 7:30.
It was
We were
almost
wrapping up around 7.
Your Honor, they were just unwrapping gifts at 7 p.m.
That is not true.
So what time do you say it was over, Miss House?
It was over around 7 by the time that everything was packed up and we were leaving.
Your Honor, during the event, I was also letting her know, let's keep things moving. Let's start to wrap it up because I do have another event. Instead, she wanted to parlay with her family and friends. They took forever to open the gifts. We ran out of food. It was only supposed to be 50 people. It was 85 plus. They were in and out of in the kitchen when my team was in there grabbing things, it was a lot going on at this event. And I feel like I was more than accommodating for, the situation. Again, she only gave me an extra $500. There's no venues in California.
So she did give you an extra $500 for the extra time she ran?
No, that was for the venue. That was the venue price. Originally, it was $2,000 without the venue. Okay. And then when I found her a venue, it was an extra $500. Well, when I brought her to the venue, I was already at.
So what I need to know, Ms. House, is why do you think Ms. Samuels owes you $2,500? Your assertion is what? Why are you owed $2,500? Why do you want your money back, pretty much?
Well, essentially, I feel like the end of my baby shower was ruined. She didn't inform me, like I said, of the strippers and the stripper poles. I hired personally a professional photographer to take pictures, and in the middle of opening up gifts, we have half-naked women.
All right. So you feel like your shower was ruined because the end took a nosedive in terms of environment and decorum.
Yes, and not only with that being the only memory that really is essentially taken from the baby shower. Now my mother-in-law is not speaking with me because
Why?
Because of she thinks I have a lack of good judgment based off of the fact that there were strippers at my baby shower, and now she's not talking to me. This has caused a whole rift in my marriage, and I'm getting looks at church.
But the issue becomes, is your baby shower ruined because there was another previously planned event that was taking place that was contrary to, I would guess, the environment you would think would be conducive to a baby shower?
Yes.
That's, at the end of the day, the question.
Yes.
And what I'm hearing you say is you were embarrassed, your mother-in-law was embarrassed, they got angry with you, but at the end of the day, your planner really saved you because you had no venue, because the person that offered up the venue could not do it because of this termite issue. The services work perform to completion and beyond. And I do not think it would have been appropriate for her to tell the next event that they could not start on time because your event was running late.
Yes, I understand.
Have you ever heard the phrase, beggars can't be choosers?
Yes, I have, Your Honor.
Have you?
I feel badly that you were embarrassed, that your family was uncomfortable, and that you are suffering in the relationship with your mother-in-law. But the truth is that this court has determined that the event planner, Ms. Samuels, has done everything she possibly could. And look, there was an act of God. Rain is an act of God. She couldn't control that, and neither could you. If you were all outside, you would have never seen this. Was this at a place where they had to walk, or could they walk outside without ever coming inside? Did they ever have to come through?
Yes.
They would have had to come through to see the pole, people on the pole anyway to leave?
Yes.
So you weren't going to avoid that view even if it was outside?
Yes, they would have had to see.
The only thing you could have done was to end on time, which unfortunately you couldn't because of the act of God, which is the rain. It has been determined by this court. Judgment for the defendant. I hate that happened to you, baby, but such is life. Just laugh at it.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
I will never hire you again. This speaks to your character. Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Litigants may now exit the court.
Coming up.
The second prescription was different from the original. She should have known better than to leave me to my own vices and to convince her.
So when did you become a victim instead of a person intentionally asking someone to get you a prescription on a prescription that's already expired?
Alvin Reyes claims faulty new eyeglasses are the reason he sideswiped a mailbox. Clara Martin says Mr. Reyes knew his prescription was expired, but wanted the glasses anyway.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
Good day. This is a case of Reyes versus Martin. Mr. Reyes, you are suing Ms. Martin for $1,800. You say that she gave you the wrong prescription, which causes you to not be able to see.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, explain to the court what happened.
Me and Miss Martin, we met at a mutual friend's house. She came highly recommended, so we arranged a time to meet the next day. We arranged to meet at 1:30 p.m. I come into her store. Once she got there, I told her that my prescription had expired, but I still need to get this done because I'm a construction worker and I drive. So the thing that's important to me is making sure that my eyesight is in order. She initially was hesitant, but she wanted to do me a favor.
So what's this about a favor, Ms. Martin? Why are we doing favors for people that really need their prescription? I'm not understanding what the favor is about.
Yeah, I will explain, Judge. He told me that he had an expired prescription, and I said, I don't think I can fill that for you. And he explained to me that he had gotten the prescription over a year before, but that at the time he could only afford to pay for the doctor and not for the glasses. And so he had waited until the very last moment to fill the prescription, and would I do him this favor? And I said no, because I'm not supposed to do that, and plus I don't know if his prescription has changed over the past year. However, he kept insisting that I fill the glasses.
Coming up.
You decided to do something that you knew was inappropriate.
I sort of just didn't think straight, and I filled the prescription against my better judgment.
We're back with a dispute between Alvin Reyes and Clara Martin, who are arguing over inadequate eyeglasses.
So you decided to do something that you knew was inappropriate.
Yes, ma'am. Sort of just didn't think straight, and so I filled the prescription against my better judgment. But I did tell him at that time, I asked him, have your eyes changed at all in the past few months or in the past year? Do you see exactly the same as you did before? And he said yes.
But isn't that the reason why a prescription would have an expiration date?
Yes, ma'am. He was desperate because he needed the glasses to work.
There's obviously been some type of damages.
Yes.
What happened as a result of her filling this expired prescription?
Well, after she filled it, she gave me a 72-hour period for the glasses to come in. I come in and get the glasses. I'm out. I'm thinking everything's taken care of. Everything on the road looks good. I'm not having an issue. I'm driving. I didn't even realize there was an issue until I couldn't see the address of where I was going. I turned the corner. Once I turned the corner, my car, the side of the car, hits the mailbox. There's a big scratch on the side. And now I'm not only responsible for repairing the car, but I'm now responsible for the damage to the mailbox.
Okay.
And I expect her to reimburse me for that.
Because you feel like it was the wrong prescription.
After the accident, I went back to get another prescription, and I realized that the second prescription was different from the original. She should have known better than to leave me to my own vices and to convince her.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
So when did you become a victim instead of a person intentionally asking someone to get you a prescription on a prescription that's already expired? When did that happen? Because I missed that transformation where you went into a victim.
Yes, that was my fault for convincing her to do it.
Oh!
But
his words.
Did we just give a ruling, Mr. Reyes?
Your Honor.
I think I heard it was my fault. It is clear to me that, Mr. Reyes, what you did by insisting that she help you, which is what you did, is you put your own self at risk. However, what you did, Ms. Martin, is completely and wholly wrong. And you understand that. There is no way you should have been messing around with an expired prescription.
Yes.
For that reason, both of you all are liable for the damages here. And so I'm only going to award $900 to the plaintiff on his reward. You all need to split these damages. Judgment for the plaintiff for $900. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $900.
You know, if I told you that you drank, none of this would happen.
You should have paid the whole thing.
What?
Should have paid the whole thing.
I don't know if you were drunk or not.
You may now exit the courtroom.
Floyd Lipton claims he passed out cold after his foster mother refused to fix the air conditioner. Penn Winnett admits it was broken, but says there were more important bills to pay.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Lipton versus Winnett. Mr. Lipton, you are suing Ms. Winnett for $3,000 for medical bills and a security deposit you say she should pay because of the condition of her home. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Please explain the situation to the court.
In her house, she has an air conditioning unit which has been broken for a month and a half. I begged her to fix this unit. She said it was my responsibility to fix it. She asked me to pay $2,000 to fix this unit, which I do not have. I passed out in her house, which was at the time that I passed out 90 degrees inside the house.
How long have you been living in the home?
I've been living there since I was 4 years old.
Oh, so this is your mother?
She's my foster mother. She's not my mother.
Your foster mother. Okay. And so you've been living there since you were 4 years old. You live in what state?
Arizona.
All right. You said you were paying rent?
Yes. As soon as I turned 18, she started having me pay rent, even though I was still in school. And she had me pay for $400 a month to live in the room that I had lived in since I was a kid.
How many children in the house?
Currently, there are 3 plus me.
All right. Ms. Winnett, so you are a foster mother?
Correct, Your Honor. And this
Why are you so emotional already?
Because this breaks my heart. I'm not able to have children. That's been one of my dreams since I could remember. So when I was able to have foster children, Floyd is one of the first children I took into my home, and I love and adore him with all of my heart.
The fact that you all are standing on opposite sides of the courtroom upsets you?
It does upset me, not only because of all that I've done for him, but it also puts my other foster children in jeopardy.
Okay. Mr. Lipton, you're saying that you were paying rent, you were living in the home in Arizona, it was very hot, and the air conditioning broke?
That's correct. The air conditioning had been broken for quite some time.
Not quite some time.
How long is quite some time in your estimation? And I will let you respond.
Yes, sir.
For almost a month and a half, Your Honor.
Okay, so about 45 days.
That's correct.
And then what happened on the day that you passed out?
So I had a job because I had to pay her rent. I had to pay the utilities for the house, so I was working as hard as I could. I'm working as a deckhand at a power plant. I was out there for a 9-hour shift that day. It was about 110 degrees. It's Arizona. It's quite hot, as you said, Your Honor. I got home, and the thermostat read 90 degrees. I snapped. I got angry. I was yelling at Penn. I said some things that I regret.
He cursed me out.
I said some things that I regret, but I also believe I spoke the truth.
Things like what?
I called her greedy. I said she was using me and the other foster children as cash cows. She kept saying I was lucky to be there, and if I didn't want to be there, well, I should just move out. I was trying to move out. It was a $700 security deposit that I needed to pay that I did not have the money to pay. I lost it. I got out of control, and I got so hot that I passed out. And I woke up in the ER, and I realized that I'm going to have to pay for this too now because she's not going to help me out.
So it was a heated argument, literally and figuratively.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Winnett, please respond to the testimony.
Definitely. I have a special needs foster child as well who's in a wheelchair, and right when the air conditioning unit broke, my vehicle all broke as well, and I need that second vehicle, which is a van, fixed at all times because it carries his wheelchair. So he's painting me out to be this person, this money-hungry person. He called me every name in the book. He said I only wanted him and the other children for money. Called me a greedy SOB. He said that he wasn't Annie. He gives a false narrative that I have him doing chores like
Annie,
Cinderella.
like little orphan Annie.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, so you all went there.
I didn't go there, he goes there.
Coming up.
I was the one who took him in, so for him to do this to me and talk so negatively and call me such bad names, I'm just dumbfounded.
And later.
It was his due diligence to come and measure the refrigerator and measure his space. I don't live in his home. How can I measure his space and say whether or not the refrigerator
space would fit a regular
I don't know why y'all think I can hear either one of you when you're both talking at the same time.
We're back with the case of Floyd Lipton, who blames foster mother Penn Winnett for his heat exhaustion.
Why did it take you so long to get the air conditioning fixed? Why?
As I said before, I fixed my vehicle that I have to take my other son back and forth to the
So you
doctor.
had to make a choice with expenses between the vehicle or the air right now.
Correct.
All
And
right.
when I got 4 different estimates, and the lowest estimate, I just asked him to help chip in since he runs so many different utilities. He'll have the oven and different things on, but then we'll have the air on. I'm sorry, Your Honor.
I've heard enough. I want to go back to Mr. Lipton because I want to give him a chance to respond, and I want him to tell the court why he feels like he should be awarded $3,000. You say you had medical bills after you had to go to the hospital, and you also wanted your security deposit for a new apartment. You want Ms. Winnett to pay that.
That is correct.
And why is that, sir? I'd like you to explain.
Because I was paying, like I said, I was paying utilities on the house. I was paying often for her groceries, and she claims that I wasn't paying for everyone's groceries, but most of the time I was.
He did that one time, Your Honor. One time he had to pay for a case of Ensure.
It was more than one time, Your Honor.
Ensure that's not for him because he was trying to gain weight.
That happened one time.
He's always been a problem child since he's a young child. He's always been truant. He dropped out of high school. He had to get his GED. He's always had an anger management problem.
Well, there's nothing wrong with getting your GED,
no,
but if you're dealing with...
But he was just so ornery and disrespectful and did everything opposite since he was younger. He grew up, I hate to see it, but his mom was on heroin and crack, and which had a bad effect on his behavior.
At the time of her pregnancy with him.
At the time of her pregnancy.
Okay.
And he was around that influence, and I was the one who took him in. So for him to do this to me and talk so negatively and call me such bad names, I'm just dumbfounded. And now you're suing me?
All right.
May I please have a chance to defend myself?
I'm going to give you that chance, and I'd like you to do that because I'd like you to answer the question about why do you think Ms. Winnett should pay your medical expenses and give you the money for a security deposit on a new apartment?
Well, she kept telling me that I was lucky to even be there, and if I didn't want to be there, I should move out. I was trying to do that.
Am I wrong? Am I wrong?
I was trying to do that. I was working at the power plant day in and day out. I was making about $12,000.
Okay, I want you to take a minute and take a breath because you're working yourself up.
I'm sorry.
And then when you get worked up, I get worked up, and you don't want me worked up.
Understood, Your Honor, I'm sorry.
Take yourself a breath and tell me what's going on.
I was making about $1,200 a month, and with the utilities on the house, with the repairs to the car, with the repairs to the air conditioning, with the groceries and all that, I was paying per month, I was paying around $800 a month. I did not have the money for security deposit on a new apartment. The new apartment that I was looking at, the security deposit was $700, and then I had to pay $700 a month. I did not have the money to pay that, to move out of the house that she was telling me that I needed.
Hold on, I'm done, I'm done. This is enough.
Sorry.
Mr. Lipton, I have to say this to you because I can see how upset you are. Welcome to the real world. You are 18 years old. You are an adult. You are in the situation that many of us, especially at your age, in our 20s, even 30s, and beyond, have found ourselves in. I think when Ms. Winnett said to you, you're lucky to be here, I don't believe she said it to mean as a foster child, you're lucky to live here. I think she meant you're lucky to be here as an 18-year-old young man and literally pay far less than you would be paying to live on your own. I understand why you would interpret what she said as you feeling like she didn't want you there. However, at 18 years old, if you decide you'd like to move out because you don't like the condition of the air, but if she has to choose between a vehicle to get a special needs child back and forth to appointments and air conditioning, you're gonna go with the vehicle. It's just that simple. And everybody gonna have to get a fan, jump in the pool, or figure out what they're gonna do to stay cool. And one thing they can't do is get so angry that they work themselves up into a tantrum, and that is exactly what you did. You worked yourself up and made yourself sick, and that is not her responsibility to pay your medical bills or get you an apartment and pay the security deposit. At 18 years old, you have to figure out how to budget your money, get a second job, or do what you need to do to be able to move on. Because the only way to make sure your living conditions are exactly what you want when you want it is to have your own place. Judgment for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's case is dismissed.
You got what you wanted.
That's not what I wanted. I didn't want to be here.
How am I gonna live now? Thanks, Mom.
I can kick you out. Not yet.
Nice.
Coming up.
And then do you go pick up the fridge?
I picked this refrigerator up thinking it would fit. I mean, she led me to believe that it would fit. I was very busy at work.
Let's talk about that.
I've never led him to believe anything.
Corley Jenkins claims her ex-husband's friend backed out of a deal to buy a refrigerator she inherited. Mark Jackson claims the fridge was too big and he tried to give it back.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Jennings versus Jackson. Ms. Jennings, you are suing Mr. Jackson, I should say, for $750 for the remaining costs owed on a refrigerator you sold him. Is that correct?
Correct, Your Honor.
All right. Tell the court what happened.
A couple of months ago, my ex-husband passed and left me and inherited some items. Some were new, some were used. And so I had extra items about the house. The defendant is good friends with my ex-husband who recently passed away. I reached out to him to see if, he could use some of the extra items that I had inherited, if he wanted to buy some before I placed them on an online site for sale. And he said he needed a refrigerator and some other things. And I said, hey, I have a refrigerator that was left to me and I'd be willing to sell it to you. He let me know that he was going to rent a truck and come and pick up the refrigerator, which he did. So I thought everything was fine at the time of...
What did you agree on would be the price?
We agreed that he would pay me $1,250 for the refrigerator, which was originally purchased at $2,300.
Mr. Jackson, did you agree to purchase the refrigerator for $1,250?
Your Honor, I agreed and I made 2 payments of $250. She received $500,
All right, so
money.
she received $500 of the dollars. Do you have a contract or text exchange or email exchange?
We spoke via text mostly.
Where are the text messages?
Your Honor, I have 2 text messages.
Let me see that, please. Oh.
Coming up.
Now, Mr. Jackson, before you went to pick up this refrigerator and agreed to purchase this refrigerator, did you take measurements of the... No! That's a yes or no question.
We're back with a dispute between Corley Jennings and Mark Jackson over the cost of a refrigerator.
And then do you go pick up the fridge?
I picked this refrigerator up thinking it would fit. I mean, she led me to believe that it would fit. I was very busy at work.
Let's talk about that.
I never led him to believe anything.
So, Mr. Jackson, you've never seen the fridge that you were going to purchase?
This is the reason why we had a picture taken. I'd
like to see the picture.
From the picture, I seen from the picture that, this may not fit. So I asked her the measurements. The measurement she gave me was
Your Honor, I never gave him any measurements. I explained to him that it was his due diligence to come and measure the refrigerator and measure his space. I don't live in his home. How can I measure his space and say whether or not the refrigerator
space would fit a regular
I don't know why y'all think I can hear either one of you when you're both talking at the same time. I'm going to ask Mr. Jackson a question. Now, Mr. Jackson, before you went to pick up this refrigerator and agreed to purchase this refrigerator, did you take measurements of the... No! That's a yes or no question.
She said
No. That's a yes or no. Did you take measurements?
The space that I have is a standard size.
Did you measure it?
I did not measure. I didn't have anything.
I'm so glad you answered that question because you had one more time and I was going to have Sean escort you right out of here because you're not going to worry me today.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Mr. Jackson, do you have a text or an email that shows this court that Ms. Jennings said to you that this is a standard size refrigerator and I know it's going to fit?
I do not.
Thank you. So, Ms. Jennings, did he ask you for the measurements?
No, Your Honor. I gave you a copy of the text message. That's all that happened.
So that's all you have. The dimensions listed are that it's about 30 to 36 inches wide, 6.5 to 7 feet tall, and 29 to 35 inches deep. When you discovered the fridge didn't fit, what did you do?
I tried to give it back to her. She would not take it back.
So where's the refrigerator now?
Well, I had to sell it. I had to do something with it.
How much did you sell it for?
I sold it for $1,500.
Oh, so you all paid her $500. You sold the refrigerator for $1,500. That's a $250 profit. This is on you, Mr. Jackson. You sold the refrigerator for $1,500. You need to pay her $750. You owe her and learn the lesson for the next time you buy a refrigerator. Judgment for the plaintiff for $750. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $750. Kelvin Mayhorn claims his pastor seduced his wife away from him instead of providing marital guidance. Pastor Marcus Hatton claims it was the plaintiff's wife who did all the seducing.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
You may be seated.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of Mayhorn versus Hatton. Mr. Mayhorn, you are suing Mr. Hatton for $10,000 for alienation of affection because you say he had inappropriate relations with your wife. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Please explain.
I have been a member of the church where the pastor, Marcus Hatton.
Pastor? Oh.
For the past 7 years. I met the love of my life there. And I knew once we met that Marcus would be the one to officiate our wedding. About 3 years into our marriage, we started having a few problems because I had some medical issues, we were struggling financially, and we both being leaders in the church decided we need to go see our pastor for counseling. Marcus suggested that we do counseling individually before we came together to do something collaborative. So we both agreed. About 3 weeks later, I did notice that she started to seem a little bit happier, you know, better spirits. And
you thought it was working?
I thought it was working. And then a little while later, she came to me saying that she wanted to go down to Greenwood to be with her mother for the weekend. So I'm thinking, okay, baby, do what you gotta do. Well, not long after that, I'm at the church going over some financial issues with the church secretary, and she hands me an invoice with my name on it for a hotel in Greenwood the same time that my wife was down there. She says Marcus gave it to her.
Wait a minute. So you found out through some church records that the church secretary gave you.
Yes, ma'am.
That your pastor had been
yes, ma'am.
Away with your wife?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hatton, what do you say to this?
Well,
you took advantage of the couple seeking counseling?
Well, first of all, Your Honor, I want to apologize for being in your court today. I've been a pastor for 25 years serving the community. The deacon here and his wife are members of my congregation. Him and his wife came to me for counseling. Now, I do know the preacher, I do know the deacon, and he kind of has a little rigid personality. So I assume that we're going to have problems considering the fact that we can't get
you can't keep your Johnson and your Brick brothers,
we
brother.
Can't get any words
okay, Mr. Mayhorn. Are you denying that you had
No, I'm not
sex
denying
with his
it,
wife?
but there's an explanation for everything.
So you're not denying it?
I'm not.
You're admitting it?
I admit
You
it.
said there's an explanation.
There's an explanation.
What could that be, Pastor?
Well, I'm a pastor, but I am a heterosexual man. So his wife would come into these private sessions dressing very provocatively. So yeah, she caught my attention and she was flirting with me.
She is a deaconess of the church. You've seen her before that.
This is true. This is true. And this is where it comes to my apologizing for that. Also, I would have to say that I talked to the man upstairs and I begged him to understand that I saw the wrongs in my ways and please forgive me. And knowing that I am a pastor and that he is a member of my congregation, I want to do right. So I'm here saying that I am agreeing with him in terms of that, but I'm not going to, it's not him. It's his wife, Your Honor. It's that Jezebel is the reason I'm here.
You narcissistic, gaslighting son of a biscuit eater. Stop it.
Hold on. Mr. Mayhorn.
Is that the way you talk to your pastor?
You not my
pastor. Or you
pastor,
talk to your friend that way?
You're not a friend.
Oh, of course I'm not your pastor.
Let's get some order. Let's get some order. Let's get some order. So, Pastor Hatton,
yes,
you are agreeing and you are admitting that you had a sexual relationship with Mr. Mayhorn's wife.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming up.
And if you had any problem with anything that I did, you could have came to me. We wouldn't have been here today.
Pastor Hatton.
Yes, ma'am.
You're not giving no sermon in here, and you're definitely not yelling at no women. So bring it down a notch.
And later.
Did you make a promise? Did you all discuss anything about when you would contribute to household expenses?
Monetary compensation, no, not once, actually. It was never brought up for me to pay rent. She offered if I could live there, and I was very grateful. So I decided that I would basically clean and help out, do what I...
We're back with the case of Deacon Kelvin Mayhorn, who blames Pastor Marcus Hatton for breaking up his marriage.
he is suing you for alienation of affection.
Whatever
Why
that
should
means.
you?
How can he sue me for something that I didn't do to him personally?
Your Honor,
he needs to sue his wife.
It's called alienation of
Well,
affection.
man, he needs to sue his wife. I didn't force her to have sex with me.
Well, but you were a party to it. Go back to how you found out about this, Mr. Mayhorn. How did you figure all this out?
I was working with the church secretary, Miss Betty Jones. She handed me an invoice showing that with my name on it. I do have it here for your records.
I'd like to see it.
Miss Jones?
Can you give me all your evidence that you brought to court, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. So this is the hotel bill?
That's also my food delivery bill because subsequently my wife left me. She told me she didn't want to be married with me anymore. So now I got to cook for myself. I got to clean my own house.
So you don't know how to cook and clean?
You know what? Your mama.
All right, do you have any evidence for me, sir?
Evidence in terms of what, ma'am?
Evidence that you bring to court to prove your case.
This is my word against. I already admitted that I had relations with his wife.
That's exactly right. But you said a Jezebel spirit? I thought you might have brought in
so
something
we can
to
get
prove,
into that.
to
We
prove
can
that
definitely.
you were not intentional in this. Because if you intentionally came between him and his wife, that's the basis for alienation of affection.
Well,
And now your witness is standing. I'd like to hear from her, Mr. Mayhorn. State your name for the record, ma'am.
Yes. My name is Betty Jones.
Hello, Ms. Jones. What would you like to add to this?
I would like to add that I have been the church secretary for over 25 years. Nothing comes to the church I will not see.
Okay.
So I was taken aback when this receipt came to the church, and I knew Mr. Mayhorn had not been away. The receipt was in his name, and I knew the pastor had been away.
Okay, stop. I want to understand this. You saw a receipt. Whose name was on the receipt?
The name on the receipt was Mr. Mayhorn.
Okay, so how did you come to realize that the pastor was responsible for this receipt?
Because he gave it to me.
Oh.
And I had already had an inkling that something was transpiring between the pastor and Mr.
I can give you
Mayhorn's
just
wife.
one receipt. You are the church secretary, so you are in charge of all the receipts. And if you had any problem with anything that I did, you could have came to me. We wouldn't have been here today.
Pastor Hatton,
Yes, ma'am.
you're not giving no sermon in here, and you're definitely not yelling at no women. So bring it down a notch.
Yes, ma'am.
It was impossible for me to go to him because I had already done something amiss myself. I had been in a relationship with the pastor.
Oh, so this is jealousy.
And he promised to me that I was the only person. But when I found out I wasn't the only person, I was highly perturbed.
Well, listen, Ben, if you're going to tell the truth, tell the whole truth. The only reason you said anything to this man is because you were jealous.
No.
Because I was with his wife and not with you.
No.
Be honest.
The church secretary just said, not only are you sleeping with the deacon's wife, you were sleeping with her too. And you didn't deny it.
Don't deny any of it.
What kind of pastoring are you doing?
Well, I'll say this. I'm not the first pastor you heard anything like that about.
Oh, actually, you are. This is an easy case. Right?
Easy in
because
terms
you've
of...
admitted that you slept with his wife.
Yes.
And under the law, you intentionally do that when you know they're married. You even knew their marriage was going through a bit of a rocky time. They came to you for help, for counsel. And instead, I always say this, do not seek counsel under the covers. And that's exactly where you led Ms. Mayhorn.
It wasn't
and it is for
intentional.
that, It is for that reason, I'm done hearing from you. It is for that reason, it has been determined by this court that we are ruling in favor of the plaintiff for $10,000. Pay it. And if I were you, I would step down as pastor. I don't think this is a role you take seriously or you value, and God don't like ugly. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $10,000.
Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but today is the day of recompense. You giving up the money, chump. You giving up the money, chump. You giving up the money, chump.
You may now exit the courtroom. You may now exit the courtroom.
Coming up.
So you say it's a different story. Do you feel like you do owe her for the plane ticket?
No, because she gave it to me. I did say I would pay her back.
That's not what you just said.
Renee Wilson claims that getting conned to buy a flight for her former roommate was the last straw. April Garcia says her friend used miles to buy the ticket, so it was essentially free.
Good day, everyone. This is the case of Wilson versus Garcia. Ms. Wilson, you are suing Ms. Garcia for $8,300. You say it's the cost of a flight and 6 months' rent while you live together. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please explain to the court what happened.
We'd been dating for 2 months before I asked her to move in. She was about to be evicted from her apartment, and so I asked her to move in with me. She was also trying to be a YouTuber. So she moved in with me, wasn't paying any rent, and the plane ticket was from when she went home to see her dad for her birthday.
So hold on, when you move in, what was the agreement?
So we did not discuss the exact amount of rent that would end up being paid. The idea was just when she was able to contribute, she would.
Did she ever contribute?
Financially, no.
All right, so Ms. Garcia, do you remember Ms. Wilson saying, yes, you can come live with me till you get on your feet?
Mm-hmm.
Did you make a promise? Did you all discuss anything about when you would contribute to household expenses?
Monetary compensation, no, not once actually. It was never brought up for me to pay rent. She offered if I could live there, and I was very grateful. So I decided that I would basically clean and help out, do what I could because I couldn't do the rent part, right?
Did she clean and do things around the house, Ms. Wilson?
In the beginning. And then once she started to become more successful, she stopped doing that gradually.
Once I finally had a piece of success, I didn't have as much time as I could. And I thought, you know, since she worked long hours, she would understand I didn't have as much time to clean.
And just to be clear, she was never added to the lease?
No, she was never on lease. I have the lease.
I'd like to see that, please.
Of course.
Coming up.
At a time, I said I would pay her back, yes, but then she just said, okay.
All right, well, she's asking now.
We're back with a dispute between former roommates Renee Wilson and April Garcia over back rent and a plane ticket.
And then tell me about the plane ticket.
So it was when she went to visit her father for his birthday. When she was there, they got into a huge argument. She missed her flight and the 2 flights she was supposed to get on, and she was panicking. And so I bought her a ticket, and using my miles and also my own personal money, she said she would pay me back when she made it big.
All right, so the value of the ticket was what, $800?
Yes.
But she used her flight miles, so she didn't play with her own money.
That is still my own money.
That's
miles
still
are...
an $800 value, even though you use your miles. You came out of pocket for $200 of it, am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, did you tell her, Ms. Garcia, that help me buy this plane ticket and I'll pay you back when I make it big?
I did not. She offered. That's why I thought it was a very grateful and wonderful thing for her to do. I didn't know she'd be asking for it back 6 months later.
Well, no, in the texts that are also part of evidence, you said you would pay me back.
I said I would pay you back.
You said, I knew you could do it. I'm so proud of you. Thank you. You know I'm going to contribute more once I make it.
Yes.
I have not made it yet. I don't have enough money to be giving and paying back. If she had just asked, hey, pay me back now, then maybe it would be a different story.
Oh, so if she had asked, you would have paid her back something?
If she had asked at a time, I said I would pay her back, yes. But then she just said, okay, okay.
All right, well, she's asking now. Why can't you pay anything?
Because I do not owe her 6 months rent. That was never agreed for. The plane ticket is a different story. The 6 months rent, we had an
let's
agreement.
talk about the story about the plane ticket. So you say it's a different story. Do you feel like you do owe her for the plane ticket?
No, because she gave it to me. I did say I would pay her back.
That's not what you just said.
I'm just saying it's a bit late to be asking for it now.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Are you able to help her at all since she helped you when you were struggling?
I was trying to help by giving some advice and consoling because I had been there scrimping and saving. And over the phone, I expressed that I'm so sorry.
So what you're basically saying, Ms. Garcia, you're not willing to give up a dime for her?
Not for the 6 months rent.
Okay, so what are you willing to pay?
Well, the only thing that you bought with your own money was the plane ticket, the $200.
I just was gonna let you keep talking and talking and talking until you just say in open court, which you just did, that really you do know that you should have paid her back for that plane ticket. You do know that. Now, you also probably should have contributed for some of the time that you lived at the apartment. The only problem, Ms. Wilson, is that you allowed her to come live with you with absolutely no written explanation of the terms between you. She wasn't added to your lease agreement in any way. This is a problem. The good news is that in open court, Ms. Garcia pretty much said, I owe her for that plane ticket. Therefore, judgment for the plaintiff for $800, the amount of the plane ticket. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the plaintiff. The defendant owes $800. Ellie Young claims dirty makeup brushes at a photo shoot gave her a nasty case of pink eye. Avery Torres says the plaintiff has no one to blame but herself and is countersuing for slander.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake presiding.
Please be seated.
Good morning, Judge.
Good morning, Sean. Good day, everyone. This is the case of Young versus Torres. Ms. Young, you are suing Ms. Torres in the amount of $1,760 for medical expenses and lost wages.
Yes.
What happened?
I recently worked with makeup artist Miss Avery Torres on set. On set, she used contaminated and unsanitized, unsanitary makeup brushes, and from which I contracted pink eye, a very severe case of pink eye.
Oh, my
I had to
goodness.
go to the hospital. Yes, so I incurred medical expenses. I could not work for 3 weeks, had to decline multiple job offers. I am suing her for the compensation.
So, Ms. Torres, Ms. Young has just asserted that you don't sterilize your brushes as a professional. Is that true?
No, Your Honor, it's not true, and
What's
she
your
knows
response
it's not
to her
true.
claim?
My response is I am countersuing for slander because of your false accusations. She took it upon herself to go onto social media, tell the world that no one should ever hire me again, and because of that, I lost a 5-day gig that was paying me $350 a day. I lost $1,750 because of her accusations that were false.
Take me to that day. How is it that you come to realize that the brushes are not sanitized? Were you, as she was working on you, were you watching the fact that she was using them on other people?
So we started shooting, and we had a 15-minute break to get our heads back in the groove and do touch-ups. So Ms. Torres was doing touch-ups on all the models. She went around, I watched her with the same makeup brushes, including myself. That is not proper procedure for a makeup artist on set. They are meant to use different makeup brushes or sanitize the brushes in between models.
Ms. Torres, were you going model to model to model with the same brush?
No, Your Honor, I was not.
Yes.
That is a
Yes,
bold-faced
she was.
lie,
Yes,
and you know
she
it.
was.
Do you have proof of that?
Ask anyone on set, and I saw it.
Why didn't you report her on the set? Why'd you wait till you got pink eye?
Because we were doing a job. I had to keep doing the job. It
No,
seemed
you didn't.
unprofessional to take the time to do that.
That would be risking your safety if you allowed a makeup artist to use unsanitary brushes for the entire day and you as a seasoned actress knew that.
Yes, Your Honor, perhaps I should have stopped and brought her improper, unsanitary use of the brushes to someone's attention, but I just
My
wanted to
brushes
do a
weren't
good
unsanitary.
job.
I know how you got
I just
pink eye.
wanted,
It wasn't the
excuse me,
brushes.
I'm speaking
Your
right
Honor,
now.
I know
Please
how
do
she
not
got pink
override
eye.
me.
It
I just
was
wanted
not
to
the
do a good
brushes.
job.
All right,
and I felt
one at a
rushed.
time.
And so we were on break, and I just wanted to do a good job, and I felt rushed. And I
Tell her
knew
what you
that
did on
time
break.
is money on set.
Time is money, right? But an injury that you're saying you suffered, that's your time and your money.
Absolutely
Because you have to
it
heal
is, yes.
and lose money to do that. So if you see someone doing something unsanitary that could cause harm to you
Yes.
or other members of the team, and you are the seasoned actor, or even if you didn't want to necessarily, get her in trouble, did you
Right.
say to her ever, hey, Don't use the same brushes on everyone.
I let her know the next day. I went to the hospital where I was diagnosed with a pink eye. And by the way, I do have a photo of the evidence of pink eye. Would you like to?
Your Honor, I know how
Thank you.
she got that pink eye, and I can tell you.
And I sent her a text
Let's get
message.
some order. Let's get some order. Both of you talking at the same time.
Thank
I
you.
can't hear both of
Sorry,
you
Your
at the same
Honor.
time. Let me look at the evidence first. This is your eye, pink, obviously.
Severe case, yes.
And you say this developed the day after you had your makeup done by Miss Torres.
Yes, I went to sleep and woke up and I could barely open my eye, my left eye. It was crusty.
Yeah, because you went into
I
my
couldn't
bag and
see.
stole eyeliner from my bag. Did she tell you that part, Your Honor?
She
No.
did not tell me
No.
that part. Miss Torres, what is your assertion?
So when we were doing the shoot, the photographer made it very clear to me that he did not want eyeliner on the models. That was not the look he's going for, which makes sense because it's a photographer's shoot, so they can say what they'd like to do. She told me that she wanted eyeliner. I made it very clear that that's not what the photographer wanted, and she was very unhappy about that. In fact, when we got onto set and we were shooting, she was having a meltdown, saying that
I
she
was not
couldn't.
having a
You were saying that you
meltdown.
couldn't
That
get in
is
the
an
zone,
accusation. I was not
unlike the
having
other
a
models,
meltdown at
because
all.
you didn't like
You can
how
ask
you
one
looked.
at a time.
Yeah, let
One
me
at a
finish.
time.
Okay.
So the director thought it would be a great idea if we all took a break. During that break, I went to the bathroom. When I came back from the bathroom, my makeup bag was open with eyeliner right outside of it. At first, I didn't think anything of it, but then I saw her come out of the bathroom with eyeliner on, so I knew it was obviously her. And I went up to her afterwards, actually, and I told her, I said, using eyeliner that's been on someone else isn't sterile. That's why I wasn't using it on any of the models. And it wouldn't have been an issue if she hadn't gone in my personal belongings, taken out makeup without my permission, and put it on herself, which is just unheard of in this business. For someone who's been doing this for 15 years.
Oh, so you're admitting you went in her bag and got the eyeliner?
Absolutely.
Coming up.
The kit is for professional use for the working models right then. If I had
That
personal
was not-
belongings,
hold
that's
on.
one thing. But these are not personal belongings.
Listen. When I'm talking, neither of you speak.
Sorry, Your Honor.
And later.
He gave me an inspection from his own mechanic, and it said, that everything was fine, all the checks, all the boxes were checked. I wanted to just move forward with the vehicle, but then he had to bring up, which was very awkward for me. He said, "Oh yeah, I knew you in high school, and you stood me up."
We're back with a dispute between Ellie Young and Avery Torres over a nasty eye infection.
It can't be very common for you to go in a professional makeup artist kit on your own without asking them.
The kit is for professional use for the working models right then. If I had
that
personal
was not-
belongings,
hold
that's
on.
one thing. But these are not personal belongings.
Listen. When I'm talking, neither of you speak.
Sorry,
Your Honor, sorry.
Has anybody else said they got pink eye from the brush that you said she was using?
I haven't been in contact with them. As
No,
far as
no
I
one's
know,
come
they have
forward to
not.
me.
But the eyeliner was necessary, and it is common
necessary?
to go into.
Says you.
Because those are professional kits.
Was that in a bag?
It was in a bag, yes. It was in a bag
A
for
zip
set
bag.
use, for the set,
Did you
for the
have
shoot.
to unzip the bag and get to it?
I did, yes. Because this is her makeup that she's using on all of us.
My makeup.
And
No.
anyway, this is my look, eyeliner. I'm booked for that. This
You're
is
a
why I
model.
work so
You do
often.
what the director
My
wants.
eyes.
Ladies. Now, Miss Young, I don't know why you up in here trying to act like a brush gave you pink eye.
Because it did.
When you are admitting you went in a zipped bag and used an eyeliner that you cannot confirm had been sterilized.
Perhaps I should have done that, but I just felt like it was proper to just continue on and let the shoot go on and just do my best.
And
on
also
the job.
go into zip bags and use eyeliners that you did not ask permission
Like
to
I said,
use.
eyeliner is my look. This is what I'm booked
Did you
for.
bring
If
your
you see,
own?
I have it on
If
today.
you get
this is my
booked
look.
for eyeliner, did you bring your own eyeliner?
I did not bring my own eyeliner, but I got booked for my look. I was told not to bring any makeup. I was told to show up bare face. I asked the photographer beforehand. He said he had one of his best makeup artists.
Now, see, this is
Not
where,
true.
Miss Young, I think I understand why you won't stop talking. Because I think it's because you think if you overtalk the situation, I will somehow understand your position, even though it was absolutely wrong.
Oh, but
No, it was. There is
No,
no
it was
reason
not.
to go in a zipped bag of anyone's, anywhere on set
This
or
is her
off,
professional
stop
tools.
talking. There is no reason. The moment you unzipped that bag and took that eyeliner out, you played at your own risk.
No, I
Yes,
disagree. I
you
disagree.
did. But
That
guess
kid
what?
is there
Guess
to be
what?
used. For,
Guess what?
You know, I made
Guess
the shoot
what?
better by putting the eyeliner on.
Guess
It brought it. We didn't have another
what?
break. We shot.
Miss Young, you're not going to convince me.
This is the truth. I'm speaking the truth.
You're speaking your truth, which is unfortunately not what this court deems to be credible. You wasting everybody's time.
No, I totally disagree.
No. Yes, you
Look,
are.
She practices
Miss
improper
Young,
procedures.
I'm done
She
with
could
you.
harm
I'm
other
done
people.
with you talking. I'm done with you talking. You went in the bag. You unzipped the bag. You used an eyeliner that she says she did not have a chance to sterilize because she used it the night before. And because of that, you got yourself in a world of trouble. And instead of just learning that lesson and taking that lesson, you want to blame it on someone that did the professional thing by having the eyeliner zipped up. It is for that reason the judgment is for the defendant for $1,750 because I know you put the post up to be spiteful. So therefore
she should
you
have labeled it as unsterilized.
You not to hire me.
Who knows, maybe
this
all
is
of
my
her- all of her
livelihood.
kids
This is my
are
job, not a joke.
Ladies.
Sterilized.
You're wrong. You should not have made a post that was that irresponsible, that could affect her livelihood when you had no reason to be sure whether it was the brush or the eyeliner, and considering the fact that pink eye occurs within the eye. So therefore, the judgment is for the defendant for $1,750. You pay her and stay out of other people's things. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff owes $1,750.
Hope you've learned a lesson.
You know what?
Now you know better.
You got away with something.
For someone
and you know
so
you did.
seasoned, you
are
don't even
so
know that you're not supposed to go through people's bag.
You speak
Okay, well, the
unprofessionally.
judge thinks differently,
You know,
so
who knows
keep
who else
going.
you're going to contaminate.
Keep ruining people's careers.
Coming up.
He gave me an inspection from his own mechanic, and it said, that everything was fine, all the checks, all the boxes were checked. I wanted to just move forward with the vehicle, but then he had to bring up, which was very awkward for me. He said, "Oh yeah, I knew you in high school, and you stood me up."
Susan McDaniels claims her former classmate sold her a lemon because she stood him up in high school. Donald Rodriguez says the car worked fine and was sold as is.
Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of McDaniels versus Rodriguez. Ms. McDaniels, you are suing Mr. Rodriguez for $9,700. You say he sold you a car that was already damaged. Is that correct?
Yes.
What happened?
So I was in the market for a vehicle, and I went online, and I saw a post that the defendant had put up. It was a 2016 Honda. He gave me an inspection from his own mechanic, and it said, that everything was fine, all the checks, all the boxes were checked. So I was under the impression that it was a fine car.
Okay.
Then I wanted to just move forward with the vehicle, but then he had to bring up, which was very awkward for me. He said, "Oh yeah, I knew you in high school, and you stood me up."
What did that have to do with anything, Mr. Rodriguez?
It was harmless. I swear there was nothing.
And so you had a car for sale, 2016 Honda.
Yes, ma'am.
And you decided to buy it.
Yes, I
that
decided
day
to do
or
it.
another day?
That day.
So you paid him $9,000.
Correct.
So you negotiated a little bit.
No, I paid the $9,000. The $9,700 that I'm in pursuant of is for the damage that was already done to the vehicle that I had to then pay for to fix.
So tell me what happens. You paid $9,000. That's what he was asking for. What happens to the point where it breaks down?
I'm in my driveway and I go to turn the ignition and it flutters a little bit. So there's like this hesitation between the car turning on and like actually the engine running. I called him a lot and he did not call me back. I have to call my mechanic, and so he comes and we tow the truck to my mechanic at Conway Auto Body.
There was an issue with the starter. I see this here.
Yes, exactly. The starter was dead.
So you paid $700 for that?
Yes, I needed a car to get around to and from work. I needed it to just get done, so I paid for it, and we got the starter installed.
Mr. Rodriguez, did you know there was something wrong with the starter when you sold Ms. McDaniels the car?
Your Honor, I have a mechanic. He did a full diagnostic on the car, and there was nothing wrong with the car. So this is news for me.
Coming up.
I text him and I say, hello, I have installed a new starter into this car because it is damaged and now I have to fix it. I want to just give this car back and get my money back.
We're back with former classmates Susan McDaniels and Donald Rodriguez, who are fighting over a defective car.
The issue with the starter happened how many days after you left from his house?
Well, the next day the flutter began, and then 2 weeks is when it actually died. But my mechanic did let me know that there are signs before this happens, that there's fluttering, there's gears turning, there's ticking, there's smoking sometimes. There's evidence before this happens.
Do either of you have the actual bill of sale or the receipt? Were you selling this car as is, Mr. Rodriguez?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a bill of sale or any type of receipt?
We do have that it's as is.
All right, so you know that he was selling the car as is?
I do, but I was under a false impression because that checklist is not accurate. There was a problem with the starter, and it's been going on long before these 2 weeks span.
So you have a diagnostic report from your mechanic that basically says that everything is in working order on the car.
Yes, ma'am.
So when she calls you and says something's going on with the starter, what do you say?
I'm going to be honest with you. I reached out to her and I told her my mechanic could look at it for free, you know, no charges or anything, and she'd rather go with her mechanic. So that kind of got me a little suspicious.
Okay, so once I install that starter, then I text him and I say, hello, I have installed a new starter into this car because it is damaged and now I have to fix it. I want to just give this car back and get my money back. And then he proceeds to text me back and say, sorry, who is this again? Pretends to not know me.
I wasn't pretending.
After he said he knew you from high school?
Yes.
I wasn't pretending.
So you thought he was being shady? You thought he was trying to avoid you?
Absolutely. Honestly, I think he sold me this car because he knew it was me, because I stood him up in high school.
Your Honor.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
Willing to take it over to his mechanic, you could have got him to put the starter in.
I understand that, Your Honor.
And then you wouldn't be here.
The thing is, after I got the starter in, then that next day, there was Christmas lights all over my car with the check engine light and the steering fluid light and the oil light. I didn't know what else was going to happen to this vehicle.
Ms. McDaniels, I hate to tell you that, but this story you just told in court is unbelievable. There is no car that needs a starter that the next time it's Christmas lights. But the fact that this car all of a sudden one day needs a starter and then the next day everything else is broken on it is almost unbelievable. However, if that did happen to you, I'm sorry, because under the law, if he sells a car as is, then that's what it is. Unfortunately, I have to dismiss your claim today, and my judgment is for the defendant. Court is adjourned.
All rise.
Judge Lake has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim is dismissed. Susan McCallie claims she didn't get the desserts she ordered, and her cousin almost set a guest on fire. Denise Baskin says she provided delicious desserts and is countersuing for $600.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lauren Lake now presiding.
You may be seated. Good day, everyone.
Good day.
This is the case of McCallie versus Baskin. Ms. McCallie, you are suing Ms. Baskin for $600 because you say you hired her to curate desserts for an event, and she went off menu and almost set one of your guests on fire.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct.
And Ms. Baskin, you say that Ms. McCallie still owes you the balance of $600. Ms. McCallie, the plaintiff. Please tell me, you ordered desserts from Ms. Baskin. What happened?
So it all started when me and my cousin ran into each other at our grandmother's birthday party.
Yes.
And she had baked a beautiful cake for my grandmother. It was amazing. It was delicious. So she began to tell me about how she wanted to save up money for her own bakery and that she had already started fulfilling orders for clients and starting new catering businesses. So I was proud of her. I was excited for her. I definitely wanted to bring her in with my event planning business with my Curly Girls event.
So I need to ask you about the event and the desserts. What kind of desserts did you order?
So I originally ordered chocolate mousse. I wanted a white chocolate raspberry cake. I wanted a lemon tart with raspberries on top, and then I also wanted a red velvet mini cake. The only one that she provided that day was the red velvet mini cake.
And what was the total cost of the dessert?
We decided on a $1,200 budget for 150 people.
Which was not enough for 150 people. Definitely not enough.
I want you to jump in now, Ms. Baskin. So you jumped in right on time.
Yes.
So $1,200 was your agreed upon price?
Yes.
Ms. McCallie talked about which desserts she ordered. Did you bring those desserts? She says you went off menu in her complaint.
So I had to. Based on the type of dessert that I do make, I use ingredients that are very expensive. So I had to go around her budget.
Your Honor, if I
Did you inform her of that in writing?
I didn't inform her, but I thought she would know. She's been around. She's my cousin.
Do either of you have the contract?
Or the contract?
Was it a written contract?
We don't have a written contract, but I do have the receipt of when I paid the deposit, and that's the only contract that
Let
we
me
have.
see that.
Yes, ma'am.
So she did make the deposit, but later on say that she did not want
So
to.
this is a contract. I mean, this is your receipt. This can serve as an understanding of what was to be supplied. This is $1,200 for desserts for 150 people. Citrus tarts, berry bundt cakes, mini red velvet, mousse pudding, and a special dessert presentation. And you gave a 50% deposit. Now, Ms. Baskin, I want you to explain to the court, you said in your earlier testimony that her budget could not cover the cost of what she wanted. Did you let her know why is this then a receipt for very specific items?
I did not let her know. Just based on how great my baking is, I thought that it wouldn't matter.
There wasn't enough money. And what you felt like is, I want to get this done right for her.
Yes.
But I know this is not going to be enough money to get all of the ingredients we need for what she ordered. Let me make something else to substitute it. But you didn't reach out to her and tell her that.
Yes, I didn't communicate. I will say that I didn't communicate that to her. I did not think it would matter because at the end of the day, I gave a great presentation and the guests loved it. I wanted to see her shine as much, and she's been an inspiration to me.
So you appreciate that. You didn't want to let her down. So what exactly did you make?
I made some strawberry tarts.
She made a strawberry blend with white chocolate ganache.
She knows my thing.
Okay, what else?
She also made a lemon tart, and then I believe it was a creme brulee, and the last thing she made was the only thing that I asked for was the red velvet mini cake.
Coming up.
I see you've brought evidence, some desserts over there. I'm waiting for you to offer those into evidence.
I would love for you to try.
Court.
And later.
You coming up in here lying, acting like I'm a fool?
You're calling me a liar?
That's exactly what I'm calling you.
We're back with cousins Susan McCallie and Denise Baskin, who are arguing over custom desserts.
Were you upset when you didn't see exactly what you'd ordered, or was everything just delicious so you said okay?
Honestly, Your Honor, I was actually really upset because we had agreed upon the menu, and I told her that it had to match my overall theme for my event. And
what was the theme?
The theme was pink. So everything was pink. It was pink balloons. It was pink table curtains.
I went for citrus berry desserts, and it
But
really,
did you know that
catered.
the theme was pink?
I did know that.
But you just decided against it?
Yes.
The trouble I'm having is that you did not inform Ms. McCallie of the change, right?
Yes.
But did the event, did the guests, did they like the desserts?
They did like the desserts, but at the end, when she did the Cherry Jubilee, which was the main event of all the desserts, she had poured, I guess, too much brandy, and the flame ignited really high. I could feel the heat from where I was standing, and I was further away, but all my sponsors were much closer, especially my alcohol sponsor, which is my most important sponsor. She was standing the closest, and she felt like her eyelashes were completely on fire. They were singed. She was extremely upset, and she didn't even even care that she burned this bridge for me.
They were singed?
Yes, ma'am. She had false eyelashes on.
Oh,
Your
my
Honor,
goodness.
It did not catch on fire. She was just very close, hovering over what I was doing. It was supposed to be a presentation. Cherry Jubilee, it's a presentation I stand and people stand back and watch because it has fire. It shows a flame of fire. So
is this the special dessert presentation?
Yes.
So you did do that as well?
Yes, I did
it's
do
just
that.
Someone was too close.
Yes. Matter of fact, I was very nervous in that situation because everybody was watching me. I overpoured the brandy. The flame was a little bit higher than it should have been.
It was extremely higher.
Understood. So you're admitting that you did something wrong?
Yes.
Okay,
It was an accident, but yes.
So I see you've brought evidence, some desserts over there. I'm waiting for you to offer those into evidence.
I would love for you to
the
try.
court. You brought desserts for me?
Yes.
What are these samples of your desserts?
I brought some key lime tarts. I brought some cheesecake. I brought some of my favorites, so I would love for you to try. It's better for you to try than me explain it.
So, this is how delectable your desserts are, right? And this is actually nothing that you ordered, Ms. McCallie. So, therefore, if these are delicious, your point, Ms. Baskin, is that I do what I need to do to make sure the customer's satisfied. I love cheesecake. Your desserts are excellent. I do understand both sides of this case. I ordered what I ordered and I want what I want, because that's what I ordered. If the budget I give cannot accommodate what I want, please tell me so I can make adjustments instead of you just making adjustments. However, your cousin's putting on an event, you are the baker, you feel like she trusts you to know I'm not gonna let you down. I may not be able to get with your budget what you want, but I'm gonna serve your guests some delicious desserts, and most importantly, I'm still gonna do an incredible presentation. What I appreciate in your testimony, which I don't hear often, Ms. Baskin, is you admit to a mistake. I may have put a little bit too much brandy, the fire was a little hot, but because someone was standing close, that's why she had that experience. If everybody was backed up, that wouldn't have happened. So I say all of this to say that both of you as family members have a reason to be disappointed in the other in some respects. And it is for this reason I believe that you should also share in the responsibility for what went on at the party. But I'm a big believer in that family, right, should come first, even over business. Share the responsibility, work it out. You said she's always been there to support you, to empower you in your business, right?
Right.
And I hope you will give her another opportunity to prepare desserts for another event, right?
Yes,
because it's how we grow and learn is through experience. Now, because this court believes you both have had a part to play in this, I'm going to award the plaintiff $300 on your claim and the defendant $300 on your counterclaim, which means you both break even. I hope from here you will put family first, communicate better, and figure out a way to work together again. Court is adjourned.
Judge Lake has ruled. Both parties are awarded $300.
I still love you.
I don't think you do. You took me to court.
Yeah, but, I mean, we could still work this out.
Coming up.
And so you believe it was Mr. Rizzo's responsibility to not serve you those extra drinks. Is that what you think caused your intoxication?
Correct.
It wasn't your responsibility to just not drink the extra drinks.
Sarah Falk claims she was overserved beyond the point of intoxication. Mark Rizzo says the plaintiff chose to keep drinking and is countersuing for $3,960.
Good day, everyone. Good day. This is the case of Falk versus Rizzo. Ms. Falk, you are suing Mr. Rizzo for $5,000. You say he was negligent because he overserved you alcohol. The defendant, Mr. Rizzo, is countersuing you for $3,960 because he says your intoxication and your suit resulted in lost wages and therapy bill for him. What happened, ma'am?
Okay, so I had gone to see some friends at a restaurant, at a bar, but this particular night specifically, Mark had come to our table, and he had been giving us extra drinks. I mean, I didn't realize how bad it had been until I woke up the next morning and there was damage to my car and to my neighbor's garage. And so I'd been completely blackout drunk. I don't remember much else than that.
And so you believe it was Mr. Rizzo's responsibility to not serve you those extra drinks. Is that what you think caused your intoxication?
Correct.
It wasn't your responsibility to just not drink the extra drinks.
I only know that I drank 3. I don't know
So you
after
drank
that.
3, but then after that you were just drunk.
Correct. But it's also my concern because I believe that he was also drunk.
Mr. Rizzo, were you drinking as well? Were you the bartender, but you were also drinking?
Yes, Your Honor.
Under the law, you can be held liable as an individual.
Yes, I think there is some legal ramifications as far as my responsibility.
What were you drinking?
Cocktails.
What kind of cocktail?
Your typical regular cocktail.
Lord have mercy.
Coming up.
At the end of the night, you wouldn't tell whose drink was whose. The table was so a mess.
So you know what happened at the end of the night. You know he was bringing extra drinks to the table, but you don't know how many you drank.
We're back with the case of Sarah Falk, who blames bartender Mark Rizzo for her car accident.
What were you drinking that night?
3 vodka soda cocktails.
So you had 3 vodka sodas, and that was like the last drink you remember having?
Correct.
And you said he kept bringing more and more drinks to the table. He was just bringing them?
At the end of the night, you wouldn't tell whose drink was whose. The table was so a mess.
So you know what happened at the end of the night. You know he was bringing extra drinks to the table, but you don't know how many you drank.
I don't remember how many I drank. I know I had 3 vodka sodas, cocktails, and that's it.
Okay, is this your friend who was here, your witness? Was she there as well?
Yes.
Please stand up, ma'am. I want to hear from you. State your name for the court.
Hello, my name is Lisa Wilkes.
Were you there at the gathering with Ms. Falk?
I had witnessed her become completely over-intoxicated, and I really witnessed Mark, who I'm actually associated with as well.
How are you associated with him?
We both are actually friends. That was kind of one of the reasons we were thinking we could hang out at the bar that night.
Can we stop acting like we don't understand what's going on here? You had a hookup. So you go to the restaurant, you pay for certain drinks, and then you think he's gonna hook you up with some extra drinks, which is what he did. And did you drink too?
I did, yes.
Do you remember how many extra drinks you brought over to the table?
I do not know.
Do you do an estimation of how drunk they are based upon your training?
I do not at this time, no.
Because the training for your restaurant is about you understanding how to serve the alcohol, but also when to stop serving it. Is that correct?
Yes,
You
Your Honor.
all live in the state of Connecticut, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
So therefore, you all have the law that states that if you're over 21 years of age, that the restaurant, the bar is not liable. So you're driving your car on the way home. You run into your neighbor's garage.
From what I saw, the damage when I woke up.
So you just fell asleep and wrecked the car, and when you woke up, where were you?
My home.
Judge Lake's verdict when We the People returns.
So what happened was, Your Honor, I had turned too soon. I went to the neighbor's garage, and then I ended up backing out. I don't remember this, but from what I saw.
Oh, you did that, and then you backed back out, went home, got in the bed, and then woke up.
Yeah.
You expect me to award you some damages, and you coming up in here lying, acting like I'm a fool?
You're calling me a liar?
That's exactly what I'm calling you. Because you standing up here in this courtroom like you drunk before you got here.
I don't remember anything, and he got a larger tip? That's not on me. He served me so he could rob me.
Rob? It's a little...
I can only laugh. You're ridiculous. You remember what you remember, and you're forgetting what you want to forget. I can't get from Miss Falk or her friend or anybody else that you brought them so many drinks that they stumbled out of there. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hold him liable for your idiocy, because at the end of the day, you had a whole group of friends that should have designated a driver. But I'm also not going to honor your counterclaim for $3,960 for your emotional distress, because, Lord, I drank too many shots on the job, and now these people trying to sue me. All of y'all are just a nightmare of irresponsibility. Both plaintiff and defendant's cases are dismissed. Court is adjourned. Get yourselves together.
Judge Lake has ruled both cases are dismissed.